live from English Stadium in Altavista. It's time for Colonels football. The Altavista Colonels live on 105.5 KD Country, or maybe you're listening at kdcountry.com. Wherever you're at, you got it turned to the right place, and you got a good football game on your hands. It's the Prince Edward Eagles in town taking on the Altavista Colonels. I'm Kyle Haney. With me, as always, my partner in crime, esteemed colleague, Agent Zero, the Big O, Oscar Briggs. Oscar, we're at home on a Friday night. It feels pretty good up here.
It feels amazing, and we're looking at a great ball game tonight. Prince Edward coming off a big 61-8 win against Windsor, and Altavista a loss 41-36 at Central Lunenburg. So this promises to be a very, we've said this before, it looks like it'll be a high-scoring ball game, and it turns into a defensive struggle. But this certainly doesn't look like it's going to come out that way.
Well, we're going to tell you why we think Prince Edward might be able to score a bunch of points later on when we come back in the Subway pregame show. If you're a Colonel fan, you probably already know that the Colonels are capable of scoring, and we'll recap their game last week. They did lose to Central Lunenburg, so the Colonels come in at 0-1 on the early 2015 season. Prince Edward, as you heard Oscar mention, 1-0. We'll recap their game as well. A lot to do. There's an excitement in the air here. Friday night football in Altavista. Going to be a fun one. Let's hear from the head coach, Mike Sharness, right after this on the Subway pregame show. Eagles, Colonels, they're set to kick off in about 25 minutes. All the action's live on 105.5 KD Country.
This is 100% convenient mobile banking with local First National Bank.
With our First Snap mobile app, you can securely check balances, make deposits, pay bills, transfer money, and much more.
It's easy to use, and we even have a video demo on our website at firstnatbk.com.
And it's free, so search First Snap mobile app and download it for free today.
Remember, banking from anywhere, anytime will help you bring home more bacon.
First National Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
So is Select Air. Their trained technicians will respond to any heating and cooling problem with prompt and courteous service. And you can get 10% off any call when you have a service contract with Select Air. Visit selectairmechanical.com. That's selectairmechanical.com to learn more about the team that can handle any home problem, including plumbing, electrical issues, and of course, heating and cooling. Selectairmechanical.com. And they're an authorized trained dealer. It's hard to stop a train.
It's a good show, man.
Man, that was awesome.
Loud crowd. House salad time.
I'll bring it on.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you're going to have to do the encore tonight, buddy.
No, they want to see your face.
Go chant your name.
Not it, man. They're saying Brett.
Well, I'm taking this with me.
No. I'll hold it for you.
Seriously, don't touch my salad.
Time for my encore now, son.
The House Salad. Grilled chicken atop mixed greens, cucumbers, Roma tomatoes, cheddar and jack cheeses, and fried onions. Served with Texas toast. Zaxby's, indescribably good.
Zaxby's, Wards Ferry Road, Lynchburg.
The Village Barbershop, an old-school 1960s-style barbershop, offering classic and current cutting techniques for gentlemen and boys. No appointment necessary. Responsible pricing in a clean family environment. Village Barbershop, open Tuesday through Friday, 8 to 6, Saturdays till noon. Stop by and see Danny Barber at Village Barbershop, serving Altavista and surrounding areas from 619 Broad Street. Give them a try.
Your high school sports station with award-winning coverage on 105.5 KD Country.
Subway pregame show returns from English Stadium in Altavista. First home game of the year for the Altavista Colonels. And that means we're talking with the head coach, Mike Sharness, once again. And Coach Sharness, first time we've had to talk to you in a long time after a loss, but we knew it would happen sooner or later. Let's start with some positives. What did you see from your team Friday night, even though it was a loss that you liked?
Yeah, the positive, Kyle, was that we played hard throughout the game, and we got down by a couple touchdowns and just kept on fighting and putting points on the board and had an opportunity to recover an onside kick and score and go for two and tie it to get it in overtime, and the kids stayed with that. We didn't have many kids leave us, mentally type thing, and we're ready to compete for 4 quarters.
Yeah, you showed a lot of fight there in the second half. You could tell you guys weren't giving up. One thing that I know was disappointing for you was your extra point operation. You really never got a clean one off there, and it was unfortunate. And like you said, you would have had to go for 2 there at the end, and not being able to convert some of those kicks was a big reason for that.
Yeah, it was, and I told the kids Monday. I told the kids after the game Friday, and then told them Monday. I said, I definitely take full responsibility. I didn't have our kids ready in that particular position, our PAT team. I didn't have it ready to execute the way we needed to going into the game. So I made a big mistake there, and we've made some changes, and along with some other things defensively, we made some changes, and hopefully it's going to be for the better.
Yeah, I was going to ask about the defense because at times they looked pretty good. At other times it looked like maybe they were on their heels a little bit. Don't know if it was just from Central Lunenburg jumping back and forth between offenses, between the spread and the tight offense, but you made any adjustments on defense that you think are going to help this week?
Yeah, the adjustments are, we made a few personnel moves, but the adjustments are just to try to become more simple and not as complex as we possibly were. We might have spread them thin a little bit as far as trying to learn a few more things than they needed to. So I think it takes away from our speed and quickness, and we want to not have them thinking out there. That was the goal this week, and we've looked good in practice. We look a little quicker, and now obviously we've got to do it on the field.
Well, I thought some of your fresh-faced guys, some of your new guys really stood out and played well. Jonathan Montague comes to mind, running the ball and on defense. And then the really new guy, the guy that hadn't played football, Josh McClure. We used to call him blue-collar in basketball season. He looks like he has a lot of those same blue-collar traits on the football field.
Yeah, Josh is just inexperienced and green, you know, as far as the football part goes. But he's a young man. He's going to keep on working hard, and he's going to get better and better as it goes. And, yeah, Jonathan ran the ball hard. I thought Jake Adams did a good job at quarterback with his decision-making. The interception that he threw was on me again. I called the route. It was a bad route from where the defensive back was playing. It was a bad call. And, again, I told the kids that. So, yeah, we're going to try to just tie it all together this week and see what happens.
Well, this week the Prince Edward Eagles are in town. It's a team you've been playing for a little while, and it's a team that always has a lot of athleticism, and some years they have some size, and it looks like this year they have a pretty good guy in the backfield. What else about Prince Edward gives you problems tonight?
Well, what the size is we've played them for a few years now, just a few years, but they're, once again, up front, they're big as anything. Offensive line, defensive line, very big. Got a 6'4" quarterback that throws the ball well, and they've got a running back by last name of Bigelow who looks like the real deal. He's got good feet, quick, a lot of moves, and he's got some speed to go along with it.
Your passing game last week, particularly in that second half when you were sort of forced to pass a little bit because of the clock situation, your passing game looked pretty good. Mateo Malback makes the fantastic catch for a touchdown. Nelson Dews had one that was very similar but just couldn't keep the foot in bounds. Is that something that you might lean on a little bit more this season, or does it just depend on a game-to-game basis?
Yeah, we want to be able to run and pass the ball depending on what the defense does. And we coming into the game, we thought we could do both as far as run the football and pass it, and that'll be what we try to do each game. See what the defense is trying to stop, and they were giving us some things in the passing game, and we did take advantage of that.
Well, final question for head coach Mike Sharness here as the Prince Edward Eagles are in town. It relates to the passing again, and it may be difficult to answer. Does your coaching staff, do you guys put a number on, hey, we'd like to throw X amount of passes tonight, or is it just depend on, like you said, what the defense gives you when you get out there?
Yeah, it's definitely what the defense gives us because we have no idea. We watch film and see what they're doing on defense, but each team will have a specific game plan defensively, whether to potentially stop the run or stop the pass by different defensive schemes. So we want to go in prepared for both aspects of the offense.
Coach, best of luck to you tonight. Prince Edward, Altavista, kickoff in about 20 minutes on 105.5 KD Country.
TCM Industrial Services recognizes the importance of high school athletics by sponsoring this award-winning broadcast. TCM Industrial Maintenance and Construction Specialist providing welding, millwright, erection, and fabrication services to all forms of industry throughout the Mid-Atlantic region from offices in Altavista. TCM Industrial Services wishes Coach Sharness and the Altavista football team a safe and successful season. Go Colonels!
A short drive will save you money.
In the market for a new Chevrolet? Fellers Chevrolet.
FellersDirect.com.
For a huge selection of new Chevrolets and pre-owned vehicles, it's Fellers Chevrolet.
FellersDirect.com.
FellersDirect.com. Selection. Convenience. Fellers Chevrolet.
Fellers Chevrolet.
Always open and only a click away.
FellersDirect.com. A short drive will save you money. Fellers Chevrolet in Altavista.
English Construction Company has been in the building business since 1909, so it's only natural that they appreciate the building process. They recognize the fact that organized sports programs build character as well as bodies and minds. They know that high school sports build our youth into more well-rounded and more productive adults. English Construction Company is proud to be a sponsor of high school sports and salute all athletes, coaches, and teachers. A word of praise and encouragement from English Construction Company with offices in Lynchburg.
Some people have never tried food at a Mexican restaurant, so we asked Chad Shelton from Shelton's Plumbing and Heating about his experience.
I wasn't so sure what the green stuff was, but they slipped some on my plate one day, and now I won't have a meal without guacamole. Still can't spell it.
At El Cazador Mexican Restaurant, if you have questions, they give you the answers in English. Mexican and American foods, affordable prices, and fast service. Try it today, El Cazador, Main Street, Altavista.
Now back to the action with Colonel Sports on 105.5 KD Country.
Subway pregame show returns from English Stadium in Altavista. Speaking of returning and Subway, the Reuben is back at Subway, Oscar. You can get the turkey Reuben or the corned beef Reuben. It got this broadcaster so excited, I had to bust out and do a little dance in Subway there. It was awesome.
Rumors are that it's on social media, so if you want to go out and dig for that, you'll find it. You may not want to see it, but
I think you want to see it. And you should be a fan of KD Country Facebook and, of course, just KDCountry.com in general. But, yeah, if you haven't liked the KD Country Facebook page, go do that. A lot to like about Altavista's performance last week, Oscar, even though they didn't get the W. They trailed the entire game, but they were never out of it at any point in the game, and they really had a chance there at the end. It all really boiled down to that onside kick there, which they did not recover, and that ended up sealing the deal. But, again, there was a lot of positives to take away from that game for the Colonels.
They fell behind by a couple of scores once or twice, but they always fought back and got to within one. And you're right, absolutely some positives came out of that game. Certainly the offense was way ahead of the defense, as you heard Coach Sharnas allude to that earlier tonight.
Yeah, and on the other side, for the Prince Edward Eagles, they got to win, and they got to win in big fashion, too. 61-8 over Windsor last week, and one man for them, the guy that Coach Sharnas just mentioned in his interview, Delquan Bigelow, starting running back for Prince Edward. He had a day, 13 carries for 264 yards, 5 touchdowns on the ground, and just for good measure, he caught 3 balls for about 40 yards as well, Oscar.
Yeah, and then Smith had 2 catches for 33 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 carries for 15 yards. Their quarterback, Thomas, 8 for 11 for 131 yards, 2 touchdowns. They racked up 422 yards on, I think, 32 carries. Kyle averaged right at 14 yards a carry, and that's just impressive.
Yeah, that really is impressive. I'm sure you could make the case of, well, how good was the competition they were playing, and maybe we'll find that out a little bit in the early stages here tonight as Prince Edward, I think, has a team that, they've been hovering around that 3 and 4 win mark of the last couple of years, Oscar, but this may be the year that the Prince Edward Eagles sort of established themselves as a really good football team.
Yeah, they were 4-7 last year, and of course that includes the first round loss in the playoffs, but we saw certainly they were very athletic last year, and Altavista beat them 41-6, but we saw a ton of speed, a ton of athleticism, and those kids are back as seniors this year, so they had a good foundation, a good-looking quarterback. Delquan Bigelow is just a beast. Colonel's going to have their hands full trying to stop him.
Yeah, they really are. When Oscar and I come back, we'll talk a little bit about the Colonel's defense and what they can do to stop Delquan Bigelow and the gang, and maybe some adjustments to make over last week. All that and more here on the Subway pregame show. You're about 15 minutes away from kickoff between Prince Edward and Altavista. You're going to hear all the action live on 105.5 KD Country.
GMC. Come on in. Bring the family. Stay cool in the summer and warm in the winter. Tyree Little's Heating and Cooling, on the ready to keep you comfortable year-round. Locally owned and operated, just a call away, with over 20 years experience. Licensed and bonded. Tyree Little's Heating and Cooling, specializing in heating, air, plumbing, and electrical, any season, anytime. Tyree Little's Heating and Cooling, keeping you cool in the summer and warm in the winter. Give them a call today. Tyree Little's Heating and Cooling, Gretna.
Prompt, confidential, professional. A-Town Bail Bonds, 434-401-0253. Local, reliable, available 24/7. A-Town Bail Bonds, 434-401-0253. When a friend or family member is arrested and jailed, call a professional. Call Chip Rourke and A-Town Bail Bonds, 434-401-0253. Get answers. Get help. A-Town Bail Bonds, 434-401-0253.
Apple Auto Glass is your windshield repair and replacement center in Lynchburg. You get a free car wash with all windshields replaced in the shop. Apple Auto Glass wants the fans to enjoy the boys of fall this high school football season.
When I feel that chill, smell that fresh cut grass, I'm back in my helmet, cleats, and shoulder pad. Kings of the school, man, where the boys of fall.
Apple Auto Glass salutes the boys of fall.
Bank with the local team. Bank of the James on Main Street in Altavista. Stop by our office today to talk with Bobby Walker and his team of local bankers to learn about local banking with Bank of the James. We offer a full line of personal and business banking products and services, including online banking and bill pay, personal and commercial loans and lines of credit, and mortgage loans. Bank with the local team. Bank of the James. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Your home for Colonel sports coverage. 105.5 KD Country.
Subway pregame show returns from Altavista High School. The Prince Edward Eagles in town to take on the Colonels. Before we talk about that Colonels defense, Oscar, that's a great atmosphere here tonight. The crowd is filling up. We had some fun times in the press box. Mr. Robert Duff is up here doing the PA tonight. Jimmy Monday here on a Friday. And, of course, the lovely Cindy Parrish Gaddy has joined us. Dean Hubbard was up here earlier. And we've got some more shout-outs, too. I know Keith Phillips likes to listen in the John Deere tractor. Danny Barber, of course, listening. Who else? Earl Hackworth probably listening down there. The Sugar Daddy. Let's see. I know some of the old gang from last year is probably listening. Destin Brown was tuned in last week, and I think Donnie and Michi, I think they can get the internet down.
Yeah, they were tuned in.
Virginia.
They were tuned in according to Vince Myers, and of course they were listening. And Carlos and Esteban at El Cazador, can't leave them out.
Don't want to leave them.
I mean,
out.
you can leave Carlos out, but don't leave Esteban out.
No. Good stuff down there at El Cazador, and hopefully some more folks are listening. We'll have some more shout-outs to come, and of course everybody's all excited in anticipation of college football starting up as well. And, of course, one former Colonel, Juan Thornhill, out there on the West Coast doing a little walkthrough in the Rose Bowl. He might not be listening. They might still be doing the walkthrough. I've been to the Rose Bowl. That's a neat place. Go if you get a chance.
Yeah, and that game is on 3:30 tomorrow afternoon as the Cavaliers play UCLA. And tune that in on Fox and see if you can pick up Juan, may get some action tomorrow.
Yeah, that'll be the difference is he's going to get to run around on the turf out there in the Rose Bowl. I just got to walk around the parking lot before the police came and ushered me away. No, that's just a joke. But anyway, and of course Virginia Tech's got a big one on Monday that people are pumped up about. Let's talk about this one here tonight. The defense last week for the Altavista Colonels, Oscar, at times they looked pretty good. At other times they didn't look so good. Some of it was, as I mentioned to Coach Sharness, I think just the fact that Lunenburg was jumping in between the spread and then the tight package. What can the Colonels do, in your opinion, differently tonight here to try and make some more plays on the defensive side?
The two things that stood out to me, Kyle, were one, when they didn't play well, it looked like they were back on their heels. They were indecisive and weren't very aggressive. The other thing that I saw was they couldn't seal the edge and contain the outside game. And weren't able to really turn the ball back in and get some help from the linebacker. So I think those things have to happen tonight against this explosive Prince Edward offense.
Coach Sharness mentioned Delquan Bigelow, the running back. He's got great footwork. He's got a great burst of speed, and he'll lower the shoulder and hit you a little bit too. He's a complete running back, and the Colonels are going to have to play a very good game defensively to contain him. We're still about 10 minutes away from kickoff. But, Oscar, I botched this last time with our sponsors, and I don't want to do it again, so I'm going to knock it out right now. That'll give you some time to maybe think about our next conversation piece. Our 2015 football roster here, the folks who make it happen for us, are the aforementioned El Cazador on Main Street in Altavista. Be sure to try their new menu. Tyree Little's Heating and Cooling, keeping you cool in the summer, warm in the winter, and comfortable in between. The Bank of the James, we're making a difference in banking and in our community. Best Bet Motors, a respected name you can trust with quality vehicles on Route 29, just south of the airport. We'll send a shout out to Terrell up there who might be listening at Best Bet Motors right now. The Village Barbershop, family-style barbershop offering current and classic cutting techniques. See Danny Barber down there at the Village Barbershop. A-Town Bail Bonds. Be good, but if you can't be good, call Chip. Call 338-6860. That's 338-6860. PCM Industrial Services, serving the Mid-Atlantic region with quality maintenance and construction services. Feller Chevrolet, a short drive will save you money. Of course, the gang down there at Fellers listens all the time. Kay Henderson, Greg Walker, Ed Fellers, everybody down there at Fellers. Stephen Dews, can't forget about him. Also, we need to thank English Construction, wishing our high school athletes an exciting and injury-free game. The Altavista Office of Economic Development, helping Altavista grow. The First National Bank, focused on providing an extraordinary customer experience. English's, your complete home center and your national hardware headquarters. Zaxby's, daringly flavorful, absolutely craveable, Wards Ferry Road in Lynchburg. The Altavista Moose Center, bringing communities closer together and celebrating life. Be a moose. Select Air Mechanical and Electrical, an authorized train dealer. It's hard to stop a train. Finch & Finch Funeral and Cremation Services, a family serving family since 1905. Highview Motors, from small to tall, Highview has it all. Apple Auto Glass, mobile service with pickup and delivery. They're celebrating the Boys of Fall. Our streaming online audio, brought to you by Chad Rakos, your Allstate agent in Windhurst. Football fans, always in good hands with Allstate agent Chad Rakos. This is the Subway pregame show, of course. 3 great locations to serve you around town. Main Street in Altavista, inside the Walmart on Clarion Road in Altavista, and in Foster Fuels on Route 29. Man, that was fun, Oscar.
It is fun.
Couldn't do without all those people.
No, it's great to have all those new people on board, and it's not too late.
Right.
We talked about it last week. If you want to join that esteemed list and get your name in, love to have you as an additional sponsor for Colonels football.
This is a nice Colonels crowd out here already for home game number 1 on the 2015 campaign. Band did a very good rendition of the national anthem while we were at commercial break. And Mr. Ruiz told me that the band has a very good halftime program planned for tonight. They're going to do the music of Queen, Oscar, which I dig that, you know. You can get into some of that symphonic stuff and the traditional marching band stuff, or you can throw out the rules and just play some rock and roll music out there at halftime. I like that.
Yeah, you said it best. You really dig that. I mean, that says it all. Spirit Line a little slow form tonight. It is first home game, so that they're allowed. But a good crowd forming. Of course, a little Metallica in the background. That always helps.
Yeah.
But hey, let's talk about Altavista's offense last week. We hadn't talked a lot about that. Jake Adams paced the Colonels 11 carries, 75 yards, 31 yard and a 7-yard touchdown as well. Threw for 118 yards, 2 touchdowns. Nelson Dews caught 7-yard touchdown pass. And Jonathan Montague led Altavista with 120 yards on 15 carries. That's impressive. The catch by Mateo Malbach was that goes into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
From what we've seen, and that's esteemed company from what we've seen the plays over the last 3 or 4 years. So the Colonels a lot to build on there, as we talked about at the end of the broadcast last week, and certainly bodes well for tonight against a Prince Edward team that the Colonels have had some success against.
Colonels have in recent years had success against Prince Edward, but as I mentioned, this might be a different brand of football this year for the Prince Edward Eagles. They've always seemed to have talent and speed. I think this year they're starting to put it all together. They've got some size up front again. It'll be interesting to watch that battle on the offensive and defensive lines. Yeah, for me, that Mateo Malbach touchdown reception, one of the best grabs that I've seen with my 2 eyes anyway, and excellent point by you. We certainly had a lot of likely candidates to get up there in that category.
And Ed Robles, catches we saw his brother make. So
that's right.
Sorry, Michi.
Sorry, not sorry. No, just kidding. Michi made plenty of great grabs himself. And brother Mateo obviously a lot of the same abilities and a great player in his own right. Haven't seen a signal yet. They've done the coin toss. Did you see who's got the football to start? Altavista going to break through that Spirit line. You probably hear the roar from the crowd. It's almost time for Football Friday here at Altavista High School. This crowd is definitely excited, happy to be here on a Friday night. Kind of a warm Friday night, but it's cooling down a little bit as we go on.
It's really a good night. The sun hasn't been out for quite a while. That's helped. We had some rain in the area. That helped cool it down a little bit. Humidity was higher earlier. It seems to have subsided some. So we're looking forward to a nice night of football. Hopefully we won't see the amount of cramping that we saw at at Lunenburg, or certainly is what we saw in Charlotte last night when North Carolina and South Carolina played.
Yeah, you're a North Carolina fan, so want to talk about it, or you just want to move on and get to this game here?
No, the house was divided last night, and it didn't go well for me.
Yeah, press box is divided right now as well, and we're having a good time for sure. As Cindy having to give Oscar a hard time. Hey, another shout out to our sound engineer, Eleanor Haney. She came and helped with the setup earlier, and she's back at home base making it all sound good. Our technology is going to get better and better. We had to go with the old school technology last week, so that's why it didn't sound great. We got it done. We weren't exactly thrilled about the sound, but we got it done. This week sounds a lot better, and we're glad that you're sticking it out with us. Looks like the Colonels, Oscar, are going to kick off to start the game. They won the toss. They've won the toss. Props to Jimmy Mundy for actually paying attention to something neither you or I was able to do.
Well, yeah, that's 2-0 on the toss this year.
No kidding. Got to find some kind of positive, right?
They were very successful last year.
Colonels, booted the first one into the end zone last week. That was Walker Allen on the kick, and Walker Allen's kicking game solid as always. You heard me mention there was trouble in the extra point operation last week, but that wasn't really Walker's fault. That was more so the snap and the hold. You heard Coach Sharnes take most of the blame for that. He said, I didn't have our team prepared in that phase of the game, and they certainly did take steps this week to remedy that.
And after the kickoff, I'll give you an interesting take on Walker's performance last week as well.
Allen's got the ball teed up at the 40-yard line. Referee's looking everything over, make sure they've got it straight. 4 quarters of hard-hitting football to be sure here on 105.5 KD Country. We're glad that you could join us. If you're not at English Stadium, or maybe you're out there listening right now, here comes a run up in the boot from Walker Allen. This one will not get in the end zone. Going to get fielded on about the 10-yard line, far sideline. Return man will bring it up through the teeth of the Altavista coverage team, and he gets it to the 30-yard line. It looked like it was number 2, Brandon Scott, on the return there for Prince Edward.
Walker's a little banged up. His plant knee is giving him some problem. And it's interesting to note, I talked to somebody on the coaching staff, and he was talking about Walker's performance last week. And the thing that he brought up was early in the game, he was booming them back and they were going to the end zone, having to play offense, going both ways, offense and defense. He got a little bit tired, lost some of his leg, and wasn't able to get it all the way to the end zone in those later kicks.
Shotgun formation for the Prince Edward Eagles. 3 receivers, 2 backs, including the quarterback. Snap goes to the quarterback, number 10, Joel Thomas. He hands it off to Bigelow. Bigelow spun around and dropped it about the 31-yard line. Good pursuit right there by the Altavista Colonels defense to drag him down before he could really get started downfield.
Flag early in that play down at about the 30-yard line. That's usually in the area of some holding.
Yeah, it's sort of there on the back side of the offensive line. Play went to the right. That flag is over there towards the left hash mark. Officials just talking it over briefly, and I think it is on Prince Edward because they're going to call Walker Allen in, ask him. He's probably the defensive captain. They're going to ask Walker if they want to defer it or not.
And it's interesting that flag, I barely caught it flying through the air. You would think this early in the year they'd have new laundry.
Yeah.
That flag is not very yellow.
Or at least send it to the dry cleaners in the offseason. Officials still talking things over. It's an illegal block below the waist, I believe, is the signal there against Prince Edward. And it looks like Altavista is going to take the yardage. This should be a 10-yard penalty, I'm guessing. And yeah, they're stepping it back. Might be 15, actually, in fact, Oscar. It is. Going to go all the way back to the 15-yard line. Call it the 16-yard line when they finally spot it.
I missed the signal. Was that the player was engaged and
yeah,
somebody...
There's a couple different signals. Yeah, you can't You can do a double team block, but both guys have to stay up high when you do that. You can't have one guy up high and one guy down low. First and long for Prince Edward here on the second play from scrimmage. They hand it to Bigelow again. He is stuffed. Tried to go up the middle, but met some serious resistance from the Colonel's D-line right there.
Boy, it looked like I couldn't tell who got in first. Jake Adams is in there. It looked like maybe Dante was in there as well.
I think it was Jake Adams. It might have been the new man, number 28, Andres Diaz-Escura, the exchange student from Mexico. Coach Sharnes told us about him last week, said he was a little slow coming along. He missed a little bit of practice, but he felt like he was going to be an impact player. Maybe it was Josh McClure on the stop. Here it is on second down anyway, second and long. Passing play, they try to slant, incomplete. Walker Allen helped break it up. Mateo Malback thinks he swept it up off the carpet for an interception, but he didn't quite get there in time.
Nice job trying to sell that, whether he did catch it or not. And great defensive play that time by the Colonels. They weren't fooled by that little quick slant at all.
3rd and 25 is what we'll call it here with 10:51 remaining. Still no score. It's the opening drive for the Prince Edward Eagles. Illegal blocking penalty burned them on the first play from scrimmage, and that set them back deep. They'll operate from the shotgun again. 2 wide receivers to each side on 3rd and very long. Quarterback is Joel Thomas. Here's the shotgun snap. Catches chest high. Wants to throw again. Got hassled looking down the far sideline. Pass incomplete. Little too long. Walker Allen had good coverage there. They were looking for William Davis down the left sideline.
Boy, Walker Allen was there and Mateo Malback in the area as well. They both were coming across from a safety position. Nice coverage by the Colonels. Something that they were unable to do last week. So it's a 3 and out.
Yeah, Lunenburg threw the ball very well last week, and you're right. Colonels never really did get a 3 and out. Punt unit comes on the field now for Prince Edward. Return man looks to be Mateo Malback. He's got his heels on the 50-yard line for the Colonels. 10:46 left to play here in the Select Air first quarter. This punt is away, and it's not a very good one. It's not even going to reach the original line of scrimmage. It might have hit a Colonel on the bounce. I'm not sure. It bounced forward and took a decent Prince Edward roll. They downed it on about the 44-yard line. It did not hit a Colonel. I was wrong there, and they changed the spot as well. We'll call it the 41-yard line in Prince Edward territory.
That punt, when it hit the ground, went forward 15 yards. It went further on the ground than it did in the air. Good field position. Opening drive here at the Colonels. 10:37 remaining here in the first quarter. No score.
Jacob Adams will lead his offensive unit out onto the field. Of course, a lot of those guys just stay out there. Mateo Malback going to be one of a trio of receivers out here to the left side of the field, the wide side of the field. Colonels are going to snap this one from the right hash mark. They're going right to left from our perspective. Back into town. Running play. They hand it off on first down. It goes to Jonathan Montague. Montague across the 35, lunging to the 32-yard line. Good gain on first down there for the Colonels and Jonathan Montague.
He was hit right at the line of scrimmage, but continued to drive his legs, was able to spin out of that tackle and pick up an additional 6-7 yards. 2nd and 1 here. Nice opening play for the Colonels.
Colonels in the home black jerseys. They've got black pants on tonight. Both of them have orange and white trim, black helmet. Everybody's got black socks. Couple guys with black shoes, some of them with white shoes. Here comes Jacob Adams on 2nd and short. We'll call it 2nd and 1. They hand it to Montague again, right up the middle. He's got the first and more. Had one man with a hand on the back of his jersey. He just pulled him along for some extra yardage. This is a 10-yard pickup for Montague as he gets it all the way down inside the 20-yard line.
He averaged 8 yards a carry last week. He was pretty much the workhorse on 15 carries. Nice 2 carries for Jonathan so far here in tonight's game.
Johnny hits that hole hard and doesn't do a lot of dancing. He's got a few moves out there, not as many as I do. As you saw, 1 tight end, 3 receivers. Montague right behind Adams. Adams went with the hard count. Looked like Prince Edward jumped. No flag, though. They'll hand it off to Montague again. Hurdles one man at the line of scrimmage. Dives forward into a pile of bodies there for a 3 or 4 yard pickup. Gets it inside the 15-yard line. I think they'll spot it on the 14, Oscar. Colonels inching close to pay dirt here with 9:25 left to play in the Select Air first quarter.
You've got Jake Adams at quarterback as a sophomore. Jonathan Montague's a sophomore. Really grew up a lot last week, if you can say that for one game. Certainly the second half was strong.
No, I think that's a valid point. They're going to hand it to Montague again. Going off left tackle behind pulling guard. Not a whole lot there this time. Prince Edward defenders hit him hard in the thigh pads and dropped him quickly. That was number 54, Brandon McKay. Looked like the first guy in on the stop. And you can see that bulk on that Prince Edward defensive line, can't you, Oscar? They've got some big bodies out there.
Yeah, the Colonels have really kept it inside the tackles so far on every play. This brings up 3rd and call it 3, Kyle. it'll be interesting to see what the Colonels pull out of the playbook this play.
It's been all Jonathan Montague, too. Now Nelson Dews is the back in the backfield, lined up right behind quarterback Jacob Adams. Dante Poindexter in the game.
Wow.
Run behind him. Dews had a nice hole, hit hard by a linebacker after about a 4 or 5 yard gain. Boy, he had his eyes on the end zone there. Good open field tackle to bring him down.
Dante Poindexter came over and just leveled the guy and opened up that huge hole. Great block by Dante.
Great blocking scheme, too, to leave that defensive lineman for the big man, Dante Poindexter. First and goal now from the 7-yard line. Looked like Dews moved early. No whistle. Now the flag comes out. Yeah, Nelson got excited there and moved quickly and a little bit too early on the snap count. This will back the Colonels up 5 yards. It'll still be first and goal, but now the ball will be snapped from about the 12-yard line.
Yeah, he tried to cover it up, but that put 2 people in motion, and that just doesn't work either. So
Poindexter's going to sub out. Looks like a tight end coming back in. I think they're going to put Josh McClure in there at the tight end spot. 3 receivers to go along with it. Mateo Malback not split out very far. And the Colonels now, Chancellor Mormon wasn't sure if he was supposed to be on the field. He's uncovered. They want to throw to him. Adams rolling that way, looking for Mormon. Incomplete. It hit the turf at the 2-yard line. There was a little bit of confusion there, Oscar.
There was a little bit funny substitution going on, and that left Chancellor wide open. Rick's eyes had to be as big as saucers. There was nobody within 15 yards of him. They should have converted on that.
Well, and he rolled that way, too. That gave Prince Edward a chance to get over there and provide a little bit of coverage anyway. Second and goal from the 12-yard line. Colonel's looking over to the sideline. 14 seconds left on the play clock. Remember, we do have play clocks in action on the field here at Altavista.
Courtesy of the Colonel Club again.
Again. They've been doing it big. 1 tight end, 3 receivers. Adams in the shotgun. Waist-high snap. He wants to throw to the end zone. Looking for Walker Allen on the hitch route. Allen and Adams not on the same page, though. That ball falls incomplete and will bring up 3rd down.
Josh McClure, a little pattern towards the goalpost, was open about 5 yards behind his defender. But Rick, I did it again. Jake was,
did it earlier. I just didn't say anything.
Jake was going, looking strictly at Walker on that.
Didn't want to bring attention to it. Jacob Adams is the quarterback for Altavista. For those who don't know, his brother Ricky Adams, or Rick Adams, was a very good quarterback for the Colonels a few years ago. Shotgun snap to Adams. He's going to hand to Nelson Dews. Dews, nothing brewing there off the left tackle. Hit hard right at the line of scrimmage and thrown backwards. That'll bring up 4th and goal, and it looks like the field goal unit coming out onto the field for the Altavista Colonels. They're going to try and get points off the foot of Walker Allen.
And this will be interesting to see if they are able to correct the issues that they had with the special teams last week.
Yeah, this will be a good test right here for the Colonels. I like the decision. Coach Sharna said they took a lot of time and they worked on it. So you got to feel good about your long snap kicking operation right now. Ball's going to get placed on the 20. The snap was not very good. Adams is going to turn. He's going to try and throw. He's scrambling backwards all the way to the 30. That's where he's going to get dragged down. Call it the 31-yard line. The snap was a little bit low, Oscar. I don't know if Adams tried to get it to the kicking block or when it was low, he just immediately took off.
Yeah, that is one of the changes. Chancellor Mormon was in that hold position last week. Jake Adams took it there, and that's a big loss. They had the ball down.
Yep.
It's back to the 32-yard line. Gave Prince Edward better field position.
Yeah, it's not just the fact that you didn't convert the kick. It's a loss of yardage there, too. Prince Edward will start on the right hash mark, 32-yard line in Altavista territory. Eagles offense coming back out on the field now, led by their quarterback, Joel Thomas. Thomas in the shotgun, got Bigelow behind him. 3 receivers. Going to turn and hand it to Delquan Bigelow. He's not going to get started again. Colonels were all over him, shoved him out of the sideline there, and Nelson Dews hit him low around the knees for good measure to help bring him down. Good stop there by the Colonels defense. Make it 2nd and 11 now.
Andres Diaz-Escura was in on that tackle as well. He didn't get any playing time last week to amount to much, if he got any at all, Kyle.
Yeah, Diaz-Escura probably more accurately, again, exchange student from Mexico.
Has football experience in New Jersey, I believe, is what Coach Shaughnessy had said.
Empty backfield this time for Prince Edward. 5 wide receivers, 3 to the short side, 2 to the left side. That's the wide side. Thomas wants to throw, looking for a man, hits him there on the slant route around the 35-yard line, charges ahead to the 40. That's Delquan Bigelow on the grab. 6-yard pickup, maybe a 7-yard pickup when they finally move the stick there. Yeah, it'll make it 3rd and 3.
It's not hard to see what their options are and where their workhorse is here for Prince Edward. Just Bigelow, and Bigelow.
Colonels have done a good job hitting him before he can really get started downfield, though. They're going to empty the backfield again. This time it'll be from the left hash mark, 40-yard line. They need to get to about the 43. There's a shotgun snap. Thomas throwing, gets batted down out of his hand. No whistle yet. Now a whistle finally comes out, and they'll say incomplete pass. Great job to get in the backfield, though, by Josh McClure. Got his hands up there and knocked it down.
There's a flag over here on this near sideline, 20 yards downfield.
Yep. This flag is about 20 yards downfield, very far away from where the quarterback was.
Might be a sideline warning. I don't know. Yeah, exactly what it is.
Good call. It's just a warning, so it will not result in a first down for Prince Edward. That's another stop for the Altavista Colonels, Oscar. Another 3 and out for that matter. That's big stuff there from the Altavista defense. They look like they're in a bit more of an attacking mode this Friday night, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely the defense does. That was a great rush by Josh McClure. Again, this is first year on varsity and playing football for him.
Punt formation. They get it back there to the punter, Mateo Malback, waiting for the return. This time is a knuckleball kick. It will bounce backwards, an Altavista bounce in this case, and go out of bounds around the Colonel 40-yard line. That's where Altavista will take over. 6:28 left to play in the Select Air first quarter. Donnie and the gang will fix any electrical or mechanical problem, including ACs, heat pumps, plumbing, water heaters, and more, and they'll be at your house fast or your business, usually within 45 minutes or less. That's Select Air. 0-0 our score here. No timeouts just yet. This first quarter's flying by. First quarter last week took about 2 hours, it felt like, Oscar.
It really did, and right away we talked about offense, and no points yet here in the first quarter.
Going to put Maul back in motion. They're going to hand it to him on the wide receiver sweep. He's coming over here towards the sideline of the Colonel's bench. He's got a nice pickup, slipped and fell down right around the first down marker. I think he's going to be a yard shy of it. We'll call it a 9-yard gain there, though, on the jet sweep by Mateo Malback.
Nice job by Mateo. Nice job by Trey Robinson down on the edge, giving a block that freed him up. The player turned, and Trey did a good job of releasing him the player he was engaged with, releasing him to keep from getting that hold call.
Excellent observation by you. It was good blocking. He did what he had to do and then let him go. Second and short again. Adams in the shotgun from the left. Hash mark. Looks to his left. Now he's going to step to his right. Rolling out of the pocket. Had one man draped on him. He ran out of one tackle. Couldn't run out of the second tackle. Brought down by the big man. It looks like Deshaun Brown for Prince Edward. That's a loss of 1 there on second down. It'll bring up third, and we'll call it 1.5.
We had a little bit of rain here today, not a whole lot, but that's the second play in a row that Altavista players tried to make a cut, and feet have gone out from under him. Happened to Mateo, and it just happened to Jake right there.
It happened a little bit last week. We didn't think a whole lot of it. The turf here is in excellent condition in English Stadium. The Bermuda grass looks amazing. I dare say you find many fairways that look that good. 3rd and 1. Adams is going to run it off left tackle. He's got the first down, a little bit more. Hurdles out of one tackle. He's across the 45. Now the 40. Uses the jump move again. Smack forward for a few extra yards all the way to the 25. What a run right there. 27-yard pickup for a first down and more by Jacob Adams.
And week in, week out, we talked about it last year, how the outside receivers do such a good job of blocking downfield for the Colonels. Chancellor Mormon, again, on that play was downfield and did a great job getting Jake an additional 10, 15 yards.
Excellent stuff up front and excellent stuff downfield. They ran behind big number 78, Kagan Cox, initially. But as Oscar said, the receivers, including Chancellor Mormon, were doing their job downfield. Jonathan Montague in the game. Pistol formation set up right behind Adams. They're going to give it to him. He's going to try and run up the middle. Nothing there. No, the ball was fumbled. They hit Montague, and the ball went forward. This is Prince Edward football. It's number 69, Ryan Arnold, that came up with it. That snap was not clean. It may have hit off the blocking back, Dante Poindexter, inadvertently. The ball went forward. A couple guys hit Montague thinking he had the ball. But Ryan Arnold comes up with the fumble for Prince Edward. It's Eagle football here with 4:44 remaining in the first quarter.
4 plays, 40 yards, and then the turnover. 4:44 remaining here in the first quarter with no score, Kyle.
3 turnovers last week, Oscar. One of them came on 4th down on the punting situation, so maybe it's not truly a turnover, but it felt like one. Shotgun formation again for Prince Edward. Bigelow not there. Thomas wants to throw over the middle. Intercepted by Mateo Malback at the 30. Malback's across the 20. He's got his eyes on the end zone. Touchdown, Mateo Malback on the interception return. What a play right there by Malback to find the seam and get to the house.
Boy, Thomas is hurt. Jake McClure absolutely unloaded on him. It was clean. He was in the motion of throwing the ball. He, again, absolutely unloaded. Now there's a flag down on the field.
Interesting. This flag lays at around the 15-yard line. Allen's setting up for the kick. Let's see what this call is. Maybe this is on a celebration penalty. I don't know. The referee's just sitting there looking at it. He looks like he's ready for Walker Allen to kick the ball.
There's a flag there.
There is a flag laying a mere 10 feet from the referee. I don't know if he doesn't see it or he knows it's there and he just doesn't care. Allen is almost stepping on it as he gets ready to kick this extra point. Snap back, hold is good this time, and the kick is good as well. 7-0 lead. The Colonels are on top early. 4:34 left to play in the Select Air first quarter when you come back to 105.5 KD Country.
English is
so much more.
English is
more than a hardware store.
English is.
Are you planning a painting project this fall? English's is now your authorized dealer for Valspar paint. Valspar, well known for its quality and color selection. Stop by English's in Altavista. Let their paint department help you make your next painting project a success.
English's is your complete home center.
Your station for high school sports play-by-play is 105.5 KD Country.
4:34 remaining in the first. Colonels up 7-0. The offense turned it over for Altavista, Oscar. The defense got it right back and scored in the process.
Boy, that's an MO that we've seen out of the Colonels for several years now, and it's good to see that type of turnaround and them not duck their heads and go complacent. It stayed aggressive, and boy, Jay McClure, I can't tell you, he had a beat on the quarterback on Thomas and really unloaded on him. It'll be interesting to see how quickly Thomas can recover.
Yeah, you're right. The last offensive play, McClure hit Thomas and made him, forced him into a bad throw. This time, forced him into another bad throw, and it pays off in the form of a 30-yard Mateo Malback touchdown interception return, pick 6. Walker knocked in the extra point. Now he's ready to knock away the kickoff. Here comes the run up, and this one he got the full leg into. It will land about 2 yards deep in the end zone for a touchback, and that will get Prince Edward started on their own 20-yard line here with 4:34 remaining in the Select Air first quarter. I'm Kyle Haney. He is Oscar Briggs. We're so glad that you have decided to make us part of your Friday night. Big weekend ahead, a Labor Day weekend ahead. Should be a lot of great things going on, Oscar. I can think of no better way to start it than right up here tonight.
No, it's a great way to start the Labor Day weekend, and still got time if you're lingering around town to slide on in. Still some seats available here at English Stadium, and we'd love to have you.
Absolutely. Not a bad seat in the house out here at English Stadium, that's for sure. Prince Edward's brought a few fans, not a whole lot over there on that visiting section for the Eagles, but I have a feeling they're going to see a good football team this year. Here comes the shotgun snap. They'll hand it off to Bigelow. He has got nothing. He is bottled up 3 yards deep in the backfield. The Colonel's D-line just swarmed and got in there quickly. That's Traquan Farmer getting up off the pile first.
Traquan, and Dante was right there with him as well. Good to see that out of Traquan. Certainly a change of attitude over what we saw last week against Lunenburg. Colonels are aggressive. They're not back on their heels. They're hitting.
Yeah, they're really swarming. They're hitting hard, and they're wrapping up. Colonel's 3-3 defense looks ready to go. There's Dante Poindexter on the right side. 2nd and 13. Passing play is high, incomplete. Quarterback Thomas overshot everybody, and that'll bring up 3rd and long. Colonel's D has got themselves in another good situation here.
Well, Thomas unloaded that ball very quickly. He had time, but he's still hearing footsteps or bells or something.
Excellent point. His internal clock, I think, is going a little bit faster because you're right. He pretty much just caught that ball and turned and threw. He looked like a shortstop turning a double play there.
If he'd have waited 2 counts, the receiver probably could have had some separation between him and the defender. It would have been a much easier pass.
3rd and 13 here. Joel Thomas going to run the Prince Edward offense. Now he's flushed out of the pocket to his right. Hasn't tucked it down and run totally yet. Now he has, and he'll get dropped at about the 17-yard line. Colonel's defense didn't allow him much there. Again, Terrell Robinson was in the area, along with, looked like number 4, Aaron Close there, helping out on the stop. It's going to bring up another punting situation.
That's and Thomas is, I'm going to say this, that's a reluctant run. He tucked that ball and took off, but he was tentative, and he had his head on a swivel. It was not an aggressive run.
I agree with you. He didn't pull it down like he had the notion to pick up the first down with the legs. He kind of pulled it down just sheerly because he had to. Officials taking some time and talking things over. There's 3:21 left to play here in the Select Air first quarter. 7-0 is your lead for the Altavista Colonels. The man that scored the touchdown is awaiting the punt here. Mateo Malbeck standing this time just barely in Altavista territory on about the 49. Punt looks like it's going to come from Craig Burns. Burns has his heels on the 5-yard line. Got to be careful here if you're Prince Edward. Altavista has the luxury of either setting up a return or coming after him with the block. Let's see what they decide. Looks like 4 or 5 man pressure. They nearly got to Burns. This ball is going to bounce back to Mateo Malbeck. He's going to let it roll, and it takes a very good Prince Edward bounce. Fortunate there for the Eagles to get that one away from so close to their own end zone and flip the field there. Colonels are going to start on their own 36-yard line.
45-yard punt by Prince Edward.
Again, it did most of the damage on the ground. I mean, it rolled more than it was in the air. But, hey, if it works, and it really kind of makes it tough to return that way when it bounces so early, the return man can't get a beat on it.
That's right. And the Colonels did have block on that. They almost got to it, so there was no help for Malbeck for a return.
Good decision by him to just let it roll, even though it was going to hurt them a little bit on the yardage-wise. 3:10 left to play here in the first quarter. Colonels up 7-0. 1st and 10 from their own 36. Running play. Nelson Dew's going to find a hole. He's across the 40. Now the 50. The other 40. Man draped on his back. He is running out of tackles there at the end of this play. Football came out at the end, but Nelson Dews was down on the 35-yard line.
Not only was he down, he was planted. He stopped to do a cutback and didn't know he had a player trailing him. The player just pile drived him.
Couldn't dodge everybody, and a good job in pursuit there by Prince Edward. Number 50, Markeem Trent, was hustling downfield. Even Prince Edward's linebackers are big.
That offensive line continues to blow holes open for this Colonel's running game if they can keep from turning the ball over. They're looking good tonight.
1st and 10. They're in Prince Edward territory. Here's a shotgun snap. They're going to give it to Nelly again off right tackle. Surges back up the middle this time, all the way across the 30. Down finally at the 26 or 27-yard line.
Oh, he's Nelly now.
He's Nelly. He's always been Nelly, hadn't he? Anybody with the first name Nelson, you can call him Nelly, right?
Yeah, that's right.
I think that's accurate. Dews is going to stay in the game. They moved this back towards the 29-yard line, so Nelson must have had a knee on the turf. Either way, it's a decent gain there on first down. We'll call it 2nd and 5. 3 receivers, 2 of them to the left, 1 split out wide to the right. That's Walker Allen. Hard snap count from Jacob Adams. He's got a tight end to the right. Ball still hadn't come out yet. They'll hand it off this time. Dews is slammed in the backfield. Could not get out of the grasp of number 52, K9 Cordell.
That you love that. You were waiting to say. You were waiting for that call.
I have been.
It was. All these kids, most of these kids for Prince Edward have nicknames. Actually, it's Keniron Cordell. They call him K9.
I like K9.
I do too. I think it's a great nickname. That goes into the. That might go into the nickname Hall of Fame high school that we've got.
We do. We have that Hall of Fame started. We haven't unveiled it to the public yet, but we're working on it. 3rd and 7, so it's a loss of 2. 1:34 left to play in the Select Air first quarter. It's a 7-0 Colonels lead. They're trying to extend this drive here. Adams is going to put some people in motion. He sends Trey Robinson behind. Option play. Pitches it to Robinson out to the right. Robinson's headed towards the right sideline. Diving for the first down marker. He comes up about a yard shy, but there's a flag that came out trailing Robinson there. Could be a hold or a block in the back on the Altavista offense. We'll wait for the official word, but that's my hunch, Oscar.
Yeah, they're talking to Prince Edward now, and it was on the right side of that line. That's historically where you'll see that call made.
It's a good option play there. I don't really recall how many option plays the Colonels ran last week. Maybe just 1 or 2. They didn't try it a bunch. Good to see Altavista going to it early here on a 3rd down situation, showing some confidence in it. This is a hold on the Colonels. Prince Edward going to take the penalty. This will back them up 10 yards from the spot of the foul. It doesn't give the Colonels a terrible, terrible third down situation. Call it 3rd and 13. Ball will be snapped from the right hash mark, 37-yard line. Colonels need to get down to the 19. Adams going to look over the defense. 4 down linemen for Prince Edward. They show the rush. Adams wants to pass. He's going to get flushed out of the pocket. One man draped all over his jersey. Adams got to be careful with the football. Thrown backwards. They're going to give him a little bit of forward progress at the 49. That's a big loss for the Colonels. They're going to have to punt on 4th and long.
That's a 15-yard loss, and that's where there's some inexperience shows, I think. Rather than take the 5-yard loss, 8-yard loss with the drop, with the drop that he had, continued to try to evade that tackle, and big loss.
Colonels will punt this ball, still in Prince Edward territory, but just barely. They'll snap it from the 49-yard line. Allen's going to back all the way up to around the 38. 22 seconds left to play in the quarter. Colonels are going to have to punt it, though. There's only 9 seconds on the clock, unless they take the penalty. They would still have to punt it then. 2 guys back deep for Prince Edward. Here's a kick by Allen. He gets a nice high one away. Looks like the Eagles want to stay away from it. It bounces laterally right to the 20. I mean, it took a dead stop on the 20-yard line. That's where the Colonels punt coverage team downs it, and that's where Prince Edward will start. One last play here in the first quarter, 5.7 seconds left.
And that snap, Walker Allen had to elevate to get that one. So they continue to have some struggles here with the long snap in the special teams.
Yeah, it wasn't a very good snap. The rush from Prince Edward was not strong, so Altavista had plenty of time to get the kick off. But you're right, the snap fluttered a bit, and it just wasn't the best. Let's put it that way. 7-0 early lead here for the Altavista Colonels. If you joined us late, we're glad you have joined us. It was Mateo Malback on a 30-yard pick-6 interception return. 3 receivers to the wide side of the field. That's the left for Prince Edward. Rush coming heavily. Jacob Adams gets in the backfield along with number 21, Matt Aiken, it looked like. They got to the running back simultaneously, and that will end the first quarter. A good first quarter for both teams, perhaps a little better for the Colonels. They lead 7-0. Second quarter on the way against Prince Edward when you come back to 105.5 KD Country.
Finch and Finch Funeral and Cremation Service. A family serving families since 1905.
Life is full of opportunities to show someone we love them. One such opportunity is the funeral or memorial service. Finch and Finch helps you celebrate the relationships they shared and honors the memory of your loved one.
Finch and Finch Funeral and Cremation Service. A family serving families since 1905.
Here's more award-winning high school sports with Kyle and Oscar on 105.5 KD Country.
First Friday in September. It's always a lot of fun. It's definitely been a lot of fun so far here tonight. I'm Kyle Haney, joined by Oscar Briggs. We got a halftime guest, too, here on the Subway Halftime Show, Mr. Briggs. But
I'm excited about
we
that.
Get to, I know you are.
I'm excited about that.
I know you are. I'm going to tell the folks who it is here as the second quarter rolls on. Let's talk about the first quarter very briefly. Colonel's offense looked good. The one turnover, and then the defense bailed them out with an interception return for a touchdown right after it.
Yeah, the defense was much, I would say, much improved over what we saw last week. More aggressive, not on their toes. That last play, Matt Aiken shot the gap. He was stunting, and he got to the running back and just leveled him in the backfield.
We've called a lot of different names on defense, too.
And we didn't last week.
Right, yeah. We called a lot of the secondary and a lot of the defensive line. The linebackers didn't make a ton of tackles last week, and this week it would appear they're making up for it, at least in the early going here. 3 receivers, 1 tight end. Joel Thomas, the quarterback for Prince Edward. He's got his team ready. Snap, hit his hands, and then hit the deck. Colonel's diving after it. Let's see who has this one, Oscar. Altavista football is the signal. It looked to be a good snap. It hit Joel Thomas right in the hands, but he just could not reel it in.
The Colonels have pinned their ears back, and they are coming after the backfield of Prince Edward, and Thomas has not handled it well. He got hit twice early by Jake McClure, and he really looks rattled, Kyle.
I think you're right. I think he's taken a couple decent shots, and he is a little gun-shy right now. We should probably have a better term than that. We'll work on that in the creative meeting next week. It's Altavista football on the... It's second down. It's Prince Edward football. One official made the signal, so pardon us, our mistake there, or perhaps the official's mistake.
But
it's Prince Edward football.
5 seconds ago, he lined up and pointed Altavista ball. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Stick says third down. Clock says second down. I'm confused. It's third down. The last play in the first quarter was first down. Here's a timeout. That'll let us get our bearings and figure out what we're doing wrong and see what we can correct. Colonels are doing a lot right. They lead 7-0. Quick timeout with 11:22 remaining in the half on 105.5 KD Country.
Hello, this is Jerry Motley from 1433 Altavista Moose Center. Just asking everybody to come on down and join us and see what the Moose is all about to help us support our Moose Heart, Moose Haven family. Anybody's welcome to come down and take a tour of our building and see what's going on. Come on down and we'll let you in and we can have some fun. We're looking forward.
Meet Jerry and the rest of the Altavista Moose family and become a member. The Altavista Moose Family Center on Lynch Mill Road.
More live high school sports action on 105.5 KD Country.
Good Friday night to be down at the Moose in Altavista. I bet you they got us turned on down there. Hello to everybody listening down on Lynch Mill Road in Altavista. Third and long for Prince Edward, 3rd and 21. We thought the Colonels had the football, but the officials got together and talked it over and decided Prince Edward recovered their own fumble. Joel Thomas still at quarterback there. 3 receivers to the left. Colonels showing blitz again. Good protection this time. Thomas going to throw it away down the right sideline. It landed about a yard out of bounds. He was looking for Khalil Smith, and Thomas got dropped again. He did have time initially to throw, Oscar, but by the time he got rid of it, the Colonel's rush was there.
But watch him coming off the field, Kyle. He's weathering the storm is all I can say.
Yeah, he's like a boxer who in between rounds just keeps going back to that stool, and when the bell rings for the next round, he seems to get up and just sort of wander back out to the middle of the ring and take some more action. Let's see how good Thomas looks as the game goes on. Prince Edward punting this one in the shadow of their own goalpost.
Punch drunk is a good term.
There you go. Craig Burns is about 5 yards deep in the end zone already, and a flag comes out for a delay of game against Prince Edward. They didn't have their punt unit ready to take the field, so Burns is now probably going to be standing, Oscar, about a yard from the end line there. Just about a yard in bounds here when this punt is snapped. Yeah, they're going to place that ball on the 4.5-yard line. Let's see how big the Colonels come after this rush. This is a great time to pin your ears back and try and block one.
They've done a good job trying to get to him. The thing you got to be careful here is you don't make contact with him. That would bail them out.
Ball back standing on the 35-yard line. Snap is high. He almost stepped out of bounds to get it. The Colonels got it. They blocked it out of bounds. This is going to go as a safety. Good job by the Altavista Colonels. I think it might have been Matt Aiken and Traquan Farmer that got a piece of it. Dante Poindexter was there as well. Safety for the Altavista Colonels. That'll make it 9-0. We'll keep it right here. Prince Edward is going to have to kick off after the safety. We said it was a good time for a rush, Mr. Briggs. The Colonels did just that, and they got points off of it.
Yeah, they did, and there were 2 or 3 players that got there to him. The snap wasn't good. He had to elevate to get that, and that put him in trouble and just never could get the ball off.
I think it was Farmer and Aiken that got there first. Traquan Farmer, that is. You got to specify because there are multiple Farmers on this team.
Boy, and Traquan is really, he kind of separated himself last year with special teams play, and he continues to improve in that category, being a difference maker.
Love what Traquan Farmer brings to the table. 9-0 is your score now. Defense has scored some points. Special teams has now scored some points. Let's see what the Colonels' offense can do, see if they can score some points as well. Prince Edward will have the free kick from the 20-yard line. You can place it on the block and kick it off like normal, or you can kick it off like a punt. And it looks like Prince Edward has the kicking block out there, and they are going to kick this one away like a normal kickoff.
Boy, if you're Altavista, you got to be wary here. Just be alert. This could be, if you're trailing 9-0, could be an opportunity to try an onside kick.
I've seen teams onside kick after a safety, and it is something that is unexpected. Here comes the run up from number 7, Craig Burns. Line drive kick going to get fielded at about the 50-yard line. That's Jonathan Montague. Montague's got some room. He's across the 40, now the 35. Couple guys draped on his back will finally ride him down around the 32-yard line. Good return for Jonathan Montague. He never kicked it into high gear, Oscar. He was just sort of jogging for a while.
Jonathan had both hands wrapped around that ball. He was plagued a little bit earlier by that fumble. He was not going to let that happen.
I agree. Good observation, you. 11:04 remaining in the Select Air second quarter. Select Air, your authorized train dealer. It's hard to stop a train. And they're online at selectairmechanical.com. 9-0, the Colonel lead. Jonathan Montague is in the backfield behind Jacob Adams. Adams is really only about 3 yards deep, sort of a short shotgun, hands it off to Montague. Montague lowers the shoulder at the end of the run there and just plows a defender in the turf. Look at Jonathan Montague just established himself there and running over Khalil Smith. Smith held on and dragged Montague to the turf, but Montague definitely got the better of that exchange.
Looked like a little bit like Destin Brown, lowering that shoulder and dishing out some punishment as he got that extra 2-3 yards.
Punishment is a good way to describe it. That's a 9-yard gain, including the exclamation point at the end by Montague. 10:30 left to play now in the half. Adams going to catch his breath, look over the defense. Shotgun snap is chest high, hands it to Johnny Montague again. Montague ran into his own man there right at the point of attack there. Bumped into Trayvon Clark. It's enough for a first down, though, as Montague falls forward across the 20. They'll probably spot this ball right at the 20-yard line. 10:20 remaining in the Select Air second quarter. It's a 9-0 Colonel lead.
And this is a very big Prince Edward line, defensive line, and the Colonels are absolutely dominating at the point of attack.
They really are. They're chewing them up. They're using the technique. They're staying low. Here comes the handoff to Nelson Dews. Nelly's got some room up the middle. Spin move across the 15. Dives forward to the 12. Stop there. Impressive stuff. I mean, you said the offensive line was doing great, and then we see it in action right after you talk about it, Mr. Briggs. It's a 7-yard gain on first down. It's a nice little two-headed machine the Colonels have working at running back, too. Of course, they've had that in years past. Moon and Brown come to mind. Here's another handoff to Nelson Dews. Dews going to meet some resistance early in the run this time, right at the line of scrimmage. They'll try and push the pile forward for extra yards. He might have gained a yard or two.
It looks like he's a little bit short of the first down.
You're right. Official over here on the far sideline has the foot right at about the first down marker, so you're right. Maybe they pushed the pile more than I gave him credit for. They needed to get to the 10-yard line for first down yardage.
They're going to mark it as a first down. It'll be first and goal.
Didn't even need to bring the sticks out and measure. First and goal from the 10-yard line. 9:28 remaining in the half. Colonels up 9-0. Altavista's offense, particularly the running game, operating very smoothly. Nelson Dews in the backfield again, stationed to the right of quarterback Jake Adams. There's 3 receivers on the field. They hand it to Dews again. Dews going left side, following the pulling lineman. He's dragged down around the 5-yard line, had a couple white jerseys draped on him. Solid pickup again. I mean, the Colonels gaining 4, 5, 6 yards a pop every time.
Well, he had contact about 2-3 yards upfield, did that little spin move that he's really developing into such a weapon for him, and picked up 3 more yards.
2nd and 5. Dews will come off the field for a breather, so will Trey Robinson. Walker Allen split way out here as a receiver. I mean, he's 40 yards away from the nearest offensive lineman.
Is this going to be a one-on-one jump ball situation over here?
Could be a reason for that big split there by Walker Allen. Adams has a tight end, 2 receivers, and a running back, 2 blocking backs, excuse me. Adams going to run it himself off right tackle. Running right towards the sideline, headed to the right pylon. Jacob Adams is in for a touchdown. Colonels now have scored on all 3 phases of the game, Oscar. 8:34 remaining in the half. It's a 5-yard touchdown scamper from Jacob Adams.
Had that isolation over here with Walker Allen, and Walker came back across and blocked and kind of sealed that edge for Jake. And a nice job by that offensive line, developing that, sealing off that right side and making Jake able to sprint to the end zone.
15-0 right now. Colonels, they look to make it 16-0. And it would be a 9-point swing if you combine the block punt for a safety that happened right before it. Adams on to hold. Walker Allen will do the honors on the kick. Ball's going to get spotted on the 10 after the long snap. Snap gets back. Hold looks good. This kick, more of a line drive, is good as well. Colonels 16-0 over Prince Edward. 8:34 left to go in the half when you come back to 105.5 KD Country.
Here at Best Bet Motor Sales with Terrell to tell us all about the Best Bet Buy of the Week.
Thanks, Lori. This week's Buy of the Week is a 2008 Ford Explorer. This vehicle is great. It's all-wheel drive. It's super, super clean. Brand new tires, automatic transmission, all your power equipment, serviced, state inspected, and ready to roll at only $89.95, and financing is available. Come see us at Best Bet Motors, 29 South.
Best Bet Motor Sales, 29 south of Lynchburg.
Back to the press box for high school sports on 105.5 KD Country.
Well, this is a little bit more what we're used to for the Altavista Colonels, huh? This is vintage Colonel football. They score on an interception return for a touchdown. They block a punt for a safety, and then they just run it right down the throats of the Prince Edward defense. 16-0, Mr. Briggs.
Boy, the offensive line continues to blow big holes open, and that running game looks good tonight. That was a nice job by Jake Adams as well, getting that ball down so Walker Allen could kick that extra point.
Yeah, Colonels haven't passed very much tonight, haven't needed to. Offense is operating very successfully. They did have the one fumble in the first quarter, but it would appear that they've done a nice job putting that behind them. Colonel crowd has gotten into it at times tonight. They've had a lot to cheer about. Prince Edward, a dangerous football team, though. They're certainly not out of this.
No, but the Colonels are starting to show. I know it's early, 8:34 remaining here in the second quarter, but they're starting to show a little bit of that Colonel swagger from these younger kids, and I like it.
I agree. Swagger, toughness, meanness. They're getting after him. This kick a little bit shorter from Walker Allen. Fielded on the 10-yard line. It looks like Brandon Scott. He is hit hard about the 22. That football might have popped out briefly. Jonathan Montague, Johnny on the spot. He knocked the helmet off of Brandon Scott. Maybe that's what I thought was the football coming out, was actually Scott's helmet.
Well, Scott's he's trying to run down the line to get over to his bench, and he's not running a straight line either. He got popped hard. Boy, Jonathan Montague wearing number 2. Does that bring back some memories?
Brings back a lot of memories. I mistakenly said Juan Thornhill was number 2. He was number 2 on the basketball court.
Yeah, number 2 was Claudel Moon, who was really the emotional leader for the Colonels the last couple of years, and Jonathan with that hit, reminiscent of some Claudel.
Absolutely. Johnny got down there in a hurry, lowered his shoulder, and hit Scott hard. Hopefully Scott's okay. He ran off under his own power, but as Oscar mentioned, wasn't the straightest line I've ever seen taken to the sideline. Joel Thomas back in at quarterback. He's taking some hard shots for the Eagles. They'll operate from the shotgun on 1st and 10. Left hash mark. Bobble the snap momentarily and gives it to Bigelow. Bigelow running to the left sideline. Swallowed up by the Colonels defense. They strung him out, made him go to the sideline, and everybody was in pursuit.
And that's the difference from last week. They weren't able to get to that corner like they are tonight.
Couple good rivalry games going on tonight, Mr. Briggs. Tunstall and Gretna, Appomattox and Rustburg. We'll check on them as we go on. Maybe some updates in the Subway halftime show. Our special guest will be none other than the new boys basketball coach for the Altavista Colonels, Mr. Troy Harris. He'll have some things to talk about. Colonels basketball team going to do their fundraiser that they always do. That's always a good fundraiser. A lot of good prizes to be had there. 2 receivers, a blocking back, and a tight end. They hand it off to Bigelow. This time Bigelow's gotten loose. Oh, spins his way out of one tackle. Mateo Malbeck thought he had him wrapped up, and Bigelow just put a nasty spin move on him for a 15-yard gain. Now we're seeing why Bigelow is so highly touted.
Boy, that's what we anticipated from the start tonight, and really that's the first glimpse we've seen. Colonels have done a good job of bottling him up.
Yeah, Bigelow has had trouble getting started. You're right. It seems like they've hit him in pit road before he could get out there to the straightaway and pick up speed. This time he finally did get out, and you saw the damage that he can inflict on a defense. 1st and 10 now for Prince Edward. They'll hand it to Bigelow again. Going up the middle, now outside. Oh, he's off to the races here, left sideline. He'll run out of bounds under his own power. Good job by the Colonels to seal off the edge. That was Nelson Dews that sort of helped force him out. I'm not sure Nelly ever got a hand on him, but he did force him out.
No, there were 2 Colonels there, and they did force him out. They're going to mark that down. That's going to be a first down.
They've haven't moved the sticks yet. I thought it was going to be enough, too. We've been fooled on that a lot this season, Oscar, and it's still early in the season for us, but maybe we should just keep our mouths shut more often.
No, I think they're going to call for a measurement, I think.
Okay.
It certainly looks like a first down from here.
Yeah, now they are going to move the sticks. So we were right. We just
finally the referee stepped up and said enough's enough.
Yeah. He said, hey, the radio guy said it's a first down.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
We heard Jimmy Mundy say it was a first down.
That's right.
And you know, the Colonels are being aggressive, and on this drive so far, Prince Edward's been able to do a little bit of trap blocking and take advantage of that. Prince Edward, at the beginning of the game, first couple series, tried to air the ball out and throw it some, and got away from, I think, what their strength is.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think they're getting back to what their strength is, and you're right. They're taking advantage of the Colonels with some of those trap blocks and that sort of thing. They hand it to Bigelow again. Sweet play this time. Bigelow going up the far sideline. He's across the 45, now the 40. Slung down and out of bounds, hits the deck on his shoulders after another solid pickup. We'll call this one 14 yards. Bigelow has moved the chains the last 3 straight times he has touched the football. One-man wrecking ball, Delquan Bigelow.
We've seen this before out of the Colonels' defense, that they bend, but don't break. It'll be interesting to see if this younger group of Colonels are able to embrace that philosophy and execute that defense where they bend, and then as the field gets shortened, able to tighten up and break that. And I think Coach Revis has seen enough. He's called a timeout.
He has called a timeout. We'll take it with him. 6:46 left to play in the Select Air second quarter. Colonels lead 16-0, but the visiting Eagles are driving. Let's see what they do when you come back to 105.5 KD Country.
Start your business on the winning drive with an Altavista revolving loan. It's an opportunity to score big for your company's future growth. Funds available up to $10,000. Loan rate 1% below prime. Huddle up with Altavista Economic Development Director Dennis Jarvis II at Altavista Town Hall. Make your move today. The Altavista Revolving Loan Fund encourages economic development and enhances community vitality.
Your high school sports station with award-winning coverage on 105.5 KD Country.
Delquan Bigelow moving the football with great effectiveness for Prince Edward. It's a 16-0 lead for the Altavista Colonels, but it would appear that the Eagles are starting to get their offense figured out, and they're moving the ball successfully, Oscar.
Yeah, they are, and it's been a steady dose of Bigelow.
I would imagine that they might just give it to him again after that timeout. He's got his wind and his legs back. One receiver to each side, one tight end. They do hand it to Bigelow again. This time the Colonels have him bottled up in the backfield again, though. That's what they were doing so well early in the game, and now they've done it again here. It looked like Jacob Adams first one in there along with Josh McClure.
That's who it was. Jake Adams was the one that got to him first up, got him from behind.
Good job by Adams. He's going to come out for a much-needed blow and a Gatorade break. Adams really huffing and puffing over there on the sideline.
He's down on one knee.
Yeah. 2nd and 12 after the nice defensive stop on first down. 6:16 left to play in the Select Air second quarter. Prince Edward having a little bit of confusion about where to get lined up. Bigelow is going to station himself to the left of the quarterback, Thomas. There is a back to the right. Thomas wants to throw. Slant route, got his man, batted up in the air and falls incomplete. He was looking for number 11, William Davis. It was actually a well-run route and a well-thrown ball. Davis just couldn't pull it in.
Yeah, Walker Allen right there about a step behind him. Couldn't get to him, but certainly kept the receiver from making that reception.
Makes it 3rd and 13. Prince Edward's going to snap this ball from the middle of the field, 40-yard line of the Altavista Colonels. Eagles have not been in Colonel territory much tonight. They're working right to left from our perspective. 2 tight ends, 1 receiver. They'll hand it to Bigelow again. Bigelow sidesteps one man, but he can't sidestep the next 7. That's how many Colonels were in the backfield right on top of him. Matt Aiken in there early again, along with Stephen Farmer. Mateo Malbach, the safety, was in the backfield. I'm telling you, it might have been more like 9 Colonels in that backfield.
Well, and I'm kind of surprised that fourth down, they've had success moving the ball on this drive, and I know it's 4th and 15, but I'm still a little bit surprised, trailing 16-0, that they're going to punt, because their punts haven't been really, really effective. They had the one that was about a 35-yard punt.
I'm not disagreeing with you. 4th and 15 is a lot to gain, though, especially against this swarming Altavista defense. Snap got back. It was actually the best snap of the day on a long snap, but the whistles blew. Flag comes out. It's a delay of game penalty on Prince Edward. This will back him up 5 more yards. Now you really do have to kick it at 4th and 20. 5:13 left to play in the half. 16-0 Colonel lead. They would love to add to that lead. And guess what, Oscar? They get the football back to start the second half.
Yeah, it looks like, again, early game jitters. I don't know if it was because they were at home for the first time, but the turnover.
Yeah, they had to turn over the one fumble early in the first quarter. Montague never got the football. Here comes the snap. This kick is blocked too. It's going to land on about the 45-yard line and actually take a Prince Edward roll. It won't get back to the first down marker, so I don't know how you gauge the yardage on that punt. The Colonels blocked it, but it still went forward, and that helps Prince Edward out a little bit. Altavista starts with decent field position, although we won't call it great field position. They'll start on their own 34-yard line.
5:04 remaining. Colonels here in the second quarter. Colonels leading 16-0.
Again, special guest on the Subway halftime show is head basketball coach Troy Harris. We'll have plenty to talk about from the first half of this game. We'll have some scores for you. And the Subway halftime show is always fun. Maybe give us another reason to do that Subway dance about the Reuben sandwich that is back at Subway in Altavista. Here comes a shotgun snap to Adams. They hand it off to Montague. Montague hits the defensive lineman right square in the shoulders and falls forward for a 1-yard gain, but not a whole lot there on first down.
Brandon McKay, a senior for Prince Edward, made that solo stop.
It seemed like maybe a blocking assignment missed there for the Colonels because Montague just ran slam into Brandon McKay. Or maybe McKay just shed his man that was supposed to be blocking him. Either way, it's 2nd and 9 now. Colonels going left to right from our perspective in the home black jerseys, black pants. Here's a shotgun snap to Adams, hands it off to Montague. Montague going to try the left tackle. Not a whole lot there again. He does force it forward for a few bonus yards. Hard running there from Jonathan Montague.
And
actually say it's a 4-yard pickup.
Yeah, it brings up 3rd and about 4, and Prince Edward really starting to key on the run now. Colonels also early tried to pass the ball and didn't have a ton of success.
Prince Edward Eagles defense does appear to be selling out a little bit more for the run. We got 5 guys, stacked up on that line of scrimmage. 2 linebackers, 2 safeties, 2 cornerbacks. Cornerbacks are given about a 7-yard cushion. Here's a shotgun snap. Adams fakes the run, wants to throw. Looking down right sideline. Nice tight spiral complete to Walker Allen at the 20. Allen shakes the tackler. He's in for a touchdown. Walker Allen on the grab. It's a 40-yard pass and catch. Jacob Adams to Walker Allen. How about the way that tight spiral just hung up in the night air and Walker Allen ran under it for a great grab. Then he shook off the tackler.
Boy, that was a nicely thrown ball in a nice route run by Walker Allen. We talked about Prince Edward keying on the run, and the Colonels noticed that, the coaching staff noticed that as well, and took advantage of that to the tune of a 6-point touchdown by Walker Allen.
Great minds must think alike, Oscar Briggs. You're right. They did do a nice hard run fake there where Jacob Adams put it in the gut of Nelson Dews. Nelly sold the fake. That gave Adams plenty of time to throw. And he just threw a beauty down the right sideline to find Walker Allen. Here comes Allen on the kick. Adams will do the honors on the hole. 3:41 left to play in the half. Ball got back to the block and was blocked, but there was a flag that came out again. Let's see if Prince Edward left early. Official signal is that Prince Edward did come across the line of scrimmage too early. Allen looking at the sideline, holds his arms up saying, should we kick or should we go for it? I think they're just going to kick this.
And I think part of that is to get the rep in. I think that a lot of times they would take the penalty and go for it, but I think this is a case about getting the rep, getting the snap, the blocking assignments, the ball down, and Walker being able to kick it through the uprights.
I would agree. They're up 22-0 right now. And I think you're right. Sometimes they might go for 2, but they want to kick this against the live rush. It was another good rush from Prince Edward, but Walker Allen didn't mind. He knocks it through the uprights anyway. 23-0. Colonels on top. 3:41 left to play in the half when you come back to 105.5 KD Country.
I'm Jeff Walker of First National Bank and the manager at our Main Street branch in Altavista. Did you know that local bankers have a lot more at stake in taking better care of you? You see, helping local customers like you be more successful is our only focus, and each customer is so important. So for your small business, construction, and personal loan needs, think of me and think of us first. That's local First National Bank. We'll help you bring home more bacon. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Now back to the action with Colonel Sports on 105.5 KD Country.
23-0. Colonels have really scored in every way that you can score, Oscar. They've scored on an interception return for a touchdown. They've blocked a kick for a safety. They've got a rushing touchdown. They now have a passing touchdown. And it all looks pretty good.
Well, you do. It does. And you can start to see them gain a little confidence, which is good for these young kids. They had role models and great examples of great athletes that they've watched for a couple of years now. And now they're getting their turn. And a little bit shell-shocked last week, back on their feet, tentative, uncertain. They're starting to gain some confidence, and they're starting to get that Colonel swagger back.
I would agree wholeheartedly. And you're playing a good team last week in Central Lunenburg. Make no mistake about that. That's a Lunenburg football team that's going to win a lot of games this year. Might win 8, 9, 10 games in the regular season this year. Prince Edward, not a bad ball club either, but the Colonels are making them look pretty average. Walker Allen just turning that football into mush as it lands about 9 yards deep in the end zone for a touchback. That'll start Prince Edward on the 20-yard line. Hope that sounds familiar. It might sound familiar a lot this year.
Boy, that ball was smashed. Like you said, turned it to mush, whatever. 8, 9 yards deep in the end zone. Walker's getting some interest. Talking to the coaching staff, Walker's got some interest at the next level.
Yeah, we assumed that he would. I mean, a guy like that can just hit touchback after touchback with great regularity has got to grab some attention and some eyes. 1st and 10 for the Prince Edward Eagles. Middle of the field, 20-yard line. Road white jerseys with purple pants. Flag comes out. It looks like the Altavista Colonels jumped into that neutral zone. 3:41 left to play here in the Select Air. Second quarter. 23-0 is your score. It's been all Colonels. It's, again, a good Prince Edward football team, but the Colonels have made them look pretty average here so far tonight. This will make it 1st and 5, though, after the offsides penalty by Altavista. One of the rare miscues that the Colonels defense has had tonight, Oscar.
It is, and 1st and 5.
3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Joel Thomas wants to throw. He's under pressure again and drops 6 yards deep in the backfield. Dante Poindexter with the sack, and then he's going to do the honorable thing and help Thomas up off the turf after the play.
Well, if Dante didn't get him, guess who was in the neighborhood? Yeah. Josh McClure.
The blue-collar man himself, Josh McClure. I might have mistakenly said 45-yard touchdown pass, Oscar. It's a 55-yard touchdown pass. Just
well, it was from the 55-yard line.
That's right, 55-yard line. Just getting ready for Canadian football. I'm telling you, man, I'm going to have my big break up there north of the border. You'll see.
The Montreal Alouettes?
I hope so. I'm going to have to learn French for that. 2nd and long now for Prince Edward. Passing play again. They're going to dump it off to Bigelow. It's snapped away by number 52, Stephen Farmer. Farmer nearly had to pick 6 himself. He just really read that route. Jumped right in front of Bigelow, but it couldn't pull the pass in.
No, he was just too close. He was within 6 or 7 yards, and the ball was thrown on a pretty tight spiral. He did get his hands up to protect himself, but that's about all it was.
There was a protection bat away there by Stephen Farmer. Good job by the Colonels defense again. Sets up 3rd and 13. Boy, Prince Edward really needs this, if nothing else, just to get some yardage for the punt on 4th down. 4 wide receivers for Thomas. He looks over the defense. He's got Bigelow just behind him in the pistol formation. 3 to the right. Turns, hands it to Delquan Bigelow. Bigelow's going to try the right side. Ball came out. Allen tried to fall on it. I think the football's still loose. Let's wait for a signal over there on the far sideline in front of the Prince Edward bench. Nothing yet. I think it's Prince Edward football. Delquan Bigelow might have got it back. He's short of the 1st down marker. Going to bring up 4th and about 2, Mr. Briggs. 2:43 left to play, and it looks like Mike Sharness and defensive coach Mike Revis want to take a timeout. Let's take it with them. 23-0, Colonels lead. Prince Edward has a 4th down on the way when you come back to 105.5 KD Country.
The heat is here, and so is Select Air. Their trained technicians will respond to any heating and cooling problem with prompt and courteous service. And you can get 10% off any call when you have a service contract with Select Air. Visit selectairmechanical.com. That's selectairmechanical.com to learn more about the team that can handle any home problem, including plumbing, electrical issues, and of course, heating and cooling. Selectairmechanical.com. And they're an authorized trained dealer. It's hard to stop a train.
Your home for Colonel sports coverage. 105.5 KD Country.
2:42 left to go to the Subway halftime show. It's a 23-0 Altavista Colonel lead. Thank you so much for tuning in to 105.5 KD Country, WKDE, Altavista, Lynchburg. Again, if you're down there in the mountains listening like Michi and Donovan, if you're listening in downtown Altavista, maybe you're in Lynchburg, maybe you're riding around listening to a couple games. As I mentioned, there's some good ones on tonight and some good ones to go to. We'll give you a few scores in the Subway halftime show. Prince Edward looks like they're going to set up to punt this ball away on 4th and 2. And it looks like the Colonels have everybody stacked up about within a yard of the line of scrimmage. Flag comes out again on Prince Edward. They have too many guys on the field. It can't be a delay of game. They just came out of the timeout, and there was still 17 seconds left on the play clock. Illegal procedure, false start on Prince Edward. They hadn't really ever gotten set. I mean, you can move around. You know, you just have to be still for a full second before the snap, Oscar. I mean, you got to have the ability to get set out there, but either way, they did something the officials didn't like. It'll back them up 5 more yards.
Boy, and they just keep shooting themselves in the foot. Not a very clean half.
They didn't penalize them. You're right. Maybe they picked the flag up. Here's a snap. It's a perfect one. They get this kick away. High boomer, going to land on about the 49-yard line and bounce backward, take a Prince Edward roll. Mateo Malback kind of fakes like he's going to go over there and pick it up, but wisely stays away from it. The Eagles will down it on the Altavista 40-yard line. That's where the Colonels will start with 2:31 left to play in the half. The Select Air second quarter. Colonels with good field position here. They'll work left to right from our perspective.
Looking at the coaching staff up here for the Colonels that are on the radio, Coach Close, Coach Campbell, Coach Mabry. They're posers. Coach Mabry's the only real shorts guy. They're all wearing shorts tonight. But Coach Mabry's the only true shorts guy.
Mr. Dave Mabry likes to wear shorts all the time, even in the cold weather. Oscar Briggs used to be real big on that, and I think we had one of those days where it was in the low teens or something like that with wind chill, and he finally decided he had to get away from that.
Well,
Is that what that was?
Well, when you go to Hayside, you can't wear shorts.
That's a great point. You can, but you shouldn't. Empty backfield here on first down for Jacob Adams and the Altavista Colonels. There's a shotgun snap. Adams is going to run. Bottled up in the backfield, thrown forward towards the line of scrimmage, although not much of a gain and not much running room there for Jacob Adams on the first down play. 2:20 left to play in the Select Air second quarter. It's a 23-0 Altavista Colonel lead.
Plenty of time.
Plenty of time for sure. Colonels have one timeout left, if I'm not mistaken. Blocking back and a running back in the backfield this time for Altavista. That's Aaron Close up on the offensive line. Colonels want to pass anyway. Adams throwing to his right. Ball got tipped away near the line of scrimmage. I think Walker Allen thought he could dive under it, but he could not get there in time. Ball lands at the turf around the 50-yard line. That's incomplete. It'll bring up 3rd and 10. Walker was open, but the pass was deflected just enough. 23-0, the Altavista Colonel lead. Again, they've scored in just about every way that you can score. They've blocked a kick for a safety. They've run an interception back for a touchdown. They've scored a rushing touchdown and a passing touchdown. Aaron Close will check out of the game. Dante Poindexter checks in. Offense trying to get the play straight. Play clock down to about 7 seconds. Colonels need to hustle up here. It's down to 4. That's unofficial, but it's probably pretty close to official. Adams going to throw on 3rd down. Looking down the right sideline again, this time from Mateo Malback. Overthrown. Ball landed about 5 yards out of the reach of Mateo Malback. And that's going to be a rare 3 and out for the Colonels offense.
That ball was thrown from the far hash mark to the near sideline here. 45 yards in the air. Nicely thrown, tight spiral, just out through the speed of Mateo Malback, which that's not easy to do.
Not easy at all. Adams really steps into the throw nicely. If you give him time to throw, he makes it look really, really good.
And again, Colonels fans, be patient. This kid's just a sophomore.
That's exactly right. That's a great point there, Oscar. I mean, we're used to the electricity of some of the old guys. These guys are electric in their own way, but some of them still need a little bit of seasoning. Flag comes out on the Altavista Colonels. They've taken too much time. Delay a game penalty. I don't think they minded the penalty a whole lot, though. It will back them up 5 yards, make it 4th and 15. You get my point about these young guys. I mean, I think we both said it sort of in different roundabout ways, but they're really good. They're really good, but they're young.
They're young, and they're going to make mistakes. I think that's going to be the theme of this season as we move forward. Again, improve for these young kids.
Kick away by Walker Allen, going to land on the 40-yard line. Prince Edward not going to attempt to return it. It'll take a nice kernel bounce down to the 32. That's where Prince Edward will start in Altavista territory. 1:42 remaining in the Select Air second quarter. Online at selectairmechanical.com. They're your authorized train dealer. It's hard to stop a train. Subway halftime show with some scores, with a guest. Oscar and I will talk about dance moves and so much more. It's always fun on the Subway halftime show. Another big shout out to our producer, Eleanor Haney, keeping us safe and sound on these airwaves. And again, pass the word on to your friends. Even if you're out of town, you can listen at kdcountry.com. Click that Listen Live link at the top right-hand portion of the screen, or you can use the TuneIn app. Here's another penalty that's come out. It's an offsetting penalty. They've signaled both directions. Coach Mike Sharnis got his headset off, and he's having an animated conversation with the officiating crew out there, trying to wonder what the heck is going on.
He's still barking.
Yeah, I tell you, it's rare to see Coach Sharnis that animated. He's not happy about something.
Oh, he is not happy. He continues to express his concern about what went on. Boy, when you see Chancellor Mormon pulling the coach back, now Cliff Lee stepped in. Now, Sharnis, he'll forget it and go on now.
He will. He's pacing the sidelines now, and you're right. Chancellor Mormon gave his 2 cents. 3-3 defense for the Colonels. Prince Edward going to hand it to Delquan Bigelow again. Bigelow just trying to find some room in that maze that is the Altavista defense. He ran right, then he ran left, back to his right, cut back, cut up the middle, and did a lot of running to gain 1 yard, but there just was not a lot of space there for Delquan Bigelow. I think the tackle was finally made by Dante Poindexter.
Well, the good news is they forced him back inside where there was help, and he continued to dance, but there was just not an opening. Pursuit was too good by the Colonels on that play.
That's one of the first principles of a good defense. You force them back to where your help is. Colonels did that right there. Colonels showing blitz. They got to him. Jonathan Montague hit the quarterback. Pass will not even make it to the line of scrimmage. That's because Johnny just delivered a shot around the shoulder pads to Joel Thomas. Thomas up slow again, this time courtesy of Jonathan Montague.
Gingerly walking around. Montague lowered the boom on him. That's the third hard hit he's had. That's the fourth hard hit he's gotten.
Well, I pointed out in the interview with Coach Mike Sharnis that Jonathan Montague really played well last week. Montague seemingly rolling the dice and doubling down on that. I mean, he's playing even better this week. 3rd and 8 for Prince Edward. 2 receivers to each side. This ball will get snapped from the left hash mark, 33-yard line of Altavista. They hand it to Bigelow. Bigelow sidesteps the first guy, runs through the second guy, runs through the third and the fourth. Now he's across the 45, finally trucked down around the 49-yard line. Bigelow with a first down run, and it was necessary for Prince Edward. Just under a minute to play now in the half.
And we talked about it earlier. That's the disadvantage of stunning and sending all the linebackers and being aggressive is once you get past that first line of defense, get through the line, as Bigelow can do, you're going to get 10, 15 yards downfield relatively quickly.
2 receivers to each side again. Bigelow's just going to stay and block. This ball was complete, and then it dropped out of the hands of number 11, William Davis. That's incomplete on first down. 46.8 seconds left in the half. Colonels lead by 23 to nothing. They hit the quarterback, Joel Thomas, again as he was getting rid of the ball.
He did, and not only that, but the receiver heard footsteps, and rightfully so. Nelson Dews unloaded on him. If he would have held on to the ball, he wouldn't have been able to hold on to the ball.
Great point.
That's a Yogi Berra, isn't
it? Yeah, it is. It doesn't sound right, but it makes perfect sense to me. They'll hand it off to Bigelow again. Starts up the middle, now outside of the left side. Colonel's trying to track him down. They finally do get him from behind after a 6 or 7 yard gain. It looked like Matt Aiken there was one of the guys that ran him down.
It was, and we didn't call Matt Aiken's name 2 or 3 times last week. He just wasn't a factor.
Yeah, Aiken really making his presence felt. He shot the gap there in the first quarter on that big play on 3rd down. He ran him down there. Aiken's looking sharp in this game.
And the Aiken family, one of the great all-time families in Colonel history.
I would agree. Timeout right now, so we'll have some time to discuss that and so much more here. 23-0. Colonel's lead. Third down for Prince Edward with 28 seconds left in the half when you come back to 105.5 KD Country.
Zaxby's, Wards Ferry Road, Lynchburg.
Man, that house salad looks good.
Dude, it's so good.
How about one bite for the road?
No.
Sharing is caring.
No. You can't have any of my salad, bro.
Wait, I got it right here. I got $20 in a dream, yeah.
No, that's a hit right there, dude.
Thank you.
Thanks, dude.
The house salad. Grilled chicken atop mixed greens, cucumbers, Roma tomatoes, cheddar and jack cheeses, and fried onions. Served with Texas toast. Zaxby's, indescribably good.
Your station for high school sports play-by-play is 105.5 KD Country.
Colonel's pitching a shutout right now. Offense has been good. Defense has been good. Special teams has been pretty good as well. Defense will have to come up with a play here on 3rd and 5. Prince Edward, left hash mark. They're in Colonel territory. This ball is going to get snapped from the 47-yard line. Here's a snap to Thomas. Thomas wants to throw. A hitch route over there on the near sideline. Complete. Nelson Dews will get the man, which is William Davis, around the waist and throw him out of bounds. But it's enough for a first down pickup. Well-designed route and a well-thrown ball there for Joel Thomas. And he actually had some time to throw it. That addition, Oscar.
Yeah, you're going to give up that kind of yardage here with 21 seconds left.
That's right. Clock's in your favor. 19.5 seconds left. Nelson Dews faking the press coverage. Now he'll back off. 2 receivers to each side for Prince Edward. Thomas going to throw again. It's intercepted. Walker Allen just ran right under it around the 25-yard line. He's going to take it to the far sideline. Allen looking for some green. Can't find it, but it's a big play. Flag comes out at the end of it. Probably a block in the back there on the Colonel's interception return, but it's the second takeaway of the night for the Altavista Colonels. 1 pick by Mateo Malbeck went for 6 points, and this interception here stops what was actually a pretty good Prince Edward drive.
Yeah, that ball was thrown. I don't know what he saw, but there was nobody. There was not a Prince Edward receiver within 10 yards of that play.
Maybe it was the pressure getting to Thomas again, forced him to just kind of heave it up there.
I think that's exactly what happened, Kyle, because he has been hammered in that throwing the ball. The longer he hangs on to it, the harder he's been hit.
Let's see what the Colonels decide to do right here. This interception, this penalty at the end of the interception is going to back them up. There's only 4.3 seconds left. You figure you got one play. Maybe you run the old Hail Mary play and chuck it deep, or maybe you just hand it off and hope one of your running backs can break something. They might be taking a knee, though, by the looks of the formation.
You're up 23-0. You get the ball back at the start of the second half. I think you take a knee and go to the clubhouse.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that at all. Looks like that's what they're going to do. Adams under center, tightly packed offensive line. He does take the snap, fall to a knee. That'll take us to the Subway halftime show. Colonels lead 23-0. Come join us for the Subway halftime show and then the second half on 105.5 KD Country.
TCM Industrial Services recognizes the importance of high school athletics by sponsoring this award-winning broadcast. TCM Industrial Maintenance and Construction Specialist providing welding, millwright, erection, and fabrication services to all forms of industry throughout the Mid-Atlantic region from offices in Altavista. TCM Industrial Services wishes Coach Chartis and the Altavista football team a safe and successful season. Go Colonels!
This broadcast is brought to you by the members of the KD Country Sports Club.
Chef's Drive-In, keeping drive-ins alive with hometown pride and service.
One Stop Mart, where the gas is cheap, the beverages are cold, and the chicken is kicking.
El Cerrito and Altavista. Throw on a sombrero, shake your maracas, it's El Cerrito time.
Altavista Medical and Oncology Massage Therapy. Broad Street can help you relieve your pain.
Vista Foods Altavista, your hometown grocery with freshest produce and best meats.
McDonald's and Altavista, committed to the community and bringing the world's favorite food.
Colonel's Football, brought to you by the Sports Club on KD Country. The Village Barbershop, an old-school 1960s-style barbershop offering classic and current cutting techniques for gentlemen and boys. No appointment necessary. Responsible pricing in a clean family environment. Village Barbershop, open Tuesday through Friday, 8 to 6, Saturdays till noon. Stop by and see Danny Barber at Village Barbershop, serving Altavista and surrounding areas from 619 Broad Street. Give them a try.
Here's more award-winning high school sports with Kyle and Oscar on 105.5 KD Country.
Well, we kicked Oscar to the curb here for the Subway halftime show. We'll bring him back at some point. My special guest is Mr. Troy Harris, the brand new boys basketball coach here at Altavista. Colonels lead 23-0 over Prince Edward, by the way. And Troy, let's get right into it. You got to be pretty excited to be the new basketball coach here. It's hard to do these interviews with Troy here, folks, because he and I are such great friends.
Absolutely.
Not that I wasn't good friends with Mike Cartolero, but it's a little bit different. Troy, talk us through the feelings there when you found out that you'd been named the head coach for the basketball team.
Definitely really excited. I went to school here for 4 years, played under Cartolero, and then I coached under him for 8 years. So it was sort of my dream, I guess, to be the varsity basketball coach here. And when he said he was leaving to go home, I was definitely excited about the chance to get the job. And when I got it, I couldn't be happier.
Yeah, I know it's something you've really worked hard for. Let's talk about that last season, as you were obviously a big part of all the success the Colonels have had lately. But, man, that state championship run with those guys, 3 in a row, it's pretty exciting stuff to be in that locker room, huh?
It's once-in-a-lifetime type deal. I don't know if we'll ever get that lucky again. I think it was only the 10th time in the history of Virginia State basketball that it happened. So it doesn't happen very often, and it was tremendous atmosphere around the program. The fans were great. And, yeah, it was awesome to be a part of it.
Well, before we get to the Altavista boys basketball fundraiser that you guys are doing again this year, we're excited about that. We have to talk about your other successful endeavor, the Altavista softball team. Full disclosure here, folks, I was an assistant coach on that softball team. And probably none of our players listening right now, Troy. They should be all out at the game. But,
yeah, they are.
Who knows? Maybe Atlanta Gillespie's listening up there at JMU. But anyway, that was a fun ride out there, too. What did we go, region semifinals here? I'm saying we. It's hard to keep it separated between the broadcasting and the coaching here.
That's right. Yeah, we made it region semifinal, lost a heartbreaker to Rappahannock. But, yeah, 13-7. We made it a step further than we did the year before. We're region first-round loss. And, yeah, it was fun having you out there. I was toting you around on my back the whole
somebody
season.
Had to carry me around. Same way Oscar carries me in these broadcasts. I get heavy. I'm trying to lose some weight, eat at Subway more for that.
I got you.
Let's talk about the fundraiser now because I know Subway is involved again, so that's a good transition. Tell us what the basketball team is doing again this year. Pretty similar, right?
Yeah, it's the exact same thing we've done the past handful of years. We're raffling off a 42-inch TV and an iPad mini donated by Walmart, and a $200 Seiko watch from Miller's Jewelry on Main Street down here in Altavista. And if you buy a ticket, it's only $1. And on the back, you get a buy one, get one free sub donated by Robert Duff and Subway.
I love that. Did you know they got the Reuben back now, Troy?
I saw that.
Fired up. Did you see my dancing video?
I didn't see that, but I ate there today and saw the advertisement for it.
I love
so,
it.
yeah, it was awesome.
Subway is great. So, yeah, folks, definitely buy a couple of those raffle tickets. You get a great deal. You get buy one, get one sub.
Yeah,
prizes. I mean, go ahead.
Right, and the drawing will be the last home football game, which I believe is October 30th. So,
Sounds
and you
right.
don't need to be present to win. We'll get your phone number, and we'll keep your information. And when you win, we'll call you and let you know you won.
I like that. See what he did there, folks. He put a positive spin on it. No, it really is. Everybody's a winner because you're helping out the basketball team, and you're essentially getting a free sub anyway.
Exactly.
So really,
exactly.
It is hard to beat. Great stuff. Troy, thanks for stopping by. Did you get to watch any of the game, or were you selling raffle tickets?
I catch every other play or so, yeah, just
any
a little
thoughts
bit.
so far? Colonel's looking good here.
The defense is really stepping up, what I've noticed a little bit. I didn't get to watch a lot of it, to be honest, selling raffle tickets. But, yeah, shutout in the first half. Alpha team, I think they scored 61 points last week. So pretty tough, stout defense there.
Absolutely, and a lot of those guys are basketball players as well. So
they are.
Coach Harris keeps a keen eye. Troy, again, thanks a lot. We'll talk to you again. And buy some of those raffle tickets, folks. Let's take a timeout here in the Subway halftime show. Colonels lead 23-0 over Prince Edward on 105.5 KD Country.
Rubber needs a thicker Sister wants a ride. Uncle needs a sports car to keep him satisfied. Mama, she wants comfort, luxury and style. And Daddy, he just wants a deal that's gonna make him smile. Everybody's happy, you can hear them all say, we're glad we went to Fellers Chevrolet. Competition for all dealers in Central VA. A short drive will save you money. Fellers Chevrolet in Altavista.
There's just one place where students are students first, and athletics are played with purpose and perspective. That place is your local high school. High school sports offer more than the joy of competition. Studies show that student athletes in Virginia are also likely to enjoy greater levels of achievement in other areas of their lives, including academics. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education.
Brought to you by English Construction Company, with offices in Lynchburg.
Good food, low prices, and great service keep customers coming back for more day after day at El Cazador Mexican Restaurant in Altavista. El Cazador is now open all afternoon, so you can come by anytime, any day, 11 a.m. till 10 p.m. El Cazador Mexican Restaurant, a great place to unwind and relax with friends. Open 7 days a week, Main Street, Altavista. El Cazador thanks you for your business.
Stay cool in the summer and warm in the winter. Tyree Little's Heating and Cooling, on the ready to keep you comfortable year-round. Locally owned and operated, just a call away, with over 20 years experience. Licensed and bonded. Tyree Little's Heating and Cooling, specializing in heating, air, plumbing, and electrical, any season, anytime. Tyree Little's Heating and Cooling, keeping you cool in the summer and warm in the winter. Give them a call today. Tyree Little's Heating and Cooling, Gretna.
More live high school sports action on 105.5 KD Country.
Subway halftime show returns. Eat fresh at 3 great locations in town: Main Street, Walmart, and also just out of town on Route 29 in Foster Fields. Equidistant between Altavista and Lynchburg, Oscar. That is great. Equidistant. I bust out those big words, man. I'm telling you. 25-cent word. You can afford another cookie at Subway. Raspberry cheesecake, by the way. I know you're going to ask what kind I got this trip, but you know I get those all the time, right?
That's right.
Mr. Robert Duff up here giving away some free cookies earlier today. He was tossing them out of the window like Mardi Gras.
He was just tossing sandwiches out the window. Not literal sandwiches, but coupons for free sandwiches.
Yes, love it.
Coupons.
That's what they call that, too. Kind of like equidistant. Hey, we're having a good time. Colonel's having a good time, too. 23-0 they lead. Let's get back on track and talk about some football, Oscar. Didn't see a whole lot the Colonels did wrong in the first half, with the exception of the one fumble where they coughed it up.
And again, that was early. And certainly Jonathan Montague corrected that. That you could see as the game. Excuse me. That's right. Excuse me. As the half progressed, he started to wrap the ball up a little bit more secure and was certainly more careful with it.
He was. Some scores from around the area. Looks like Northside leads Heritage 7-0 at halftime. Tunstall on top of Gretna 14-10. Buckingham beating up on the Chatham Cavaliers 29-0. Looking for a score from that Rustburg-Appomattox game, because that's a particular interest to us and also Colonel fans, just since Altavista plays both of those teams later on in the year. Rustburg game not too far away. It's Greensville County in town next week, if you're wondering, folks. Game time, the usual time, 7 o'clock. We'll be on around 6:30. Haven't seen Greensville County before. In my short history book, Oscar, I can't remember the Colonels playing them in anything.
I don't remember that at all. And, of course, I think they are a 2A team.
Yeah, that's right. They are 2A. And then the Colonels will have a 3A team the next week in their county rival, the Rustburg Red Devils. But that's looking ahead. We've got the second half of this one here tonight. Prince Edward not out of this thing at 23-0. You had a point you were going to make. Go ahead.
Well, it wasn't so much a point as I was down running there in at half, and I ran into Josh McClure's dad. Was talking to him about Josh's performance so far. He's really excited. And talk about boots being on the ground. Boots on the ground. That's one of our sayings. One of your sayings.
Yeah.
Jake McClure is on his way in from Camp Lejeune. He's in the Marines now. Hadn't been home since February. And he's literally within 5 minutes of being here in the state and being able to watch Josh play.
He might be listening right now.
He may be.
And Jake the Snake, big shout out to you with the boots on the ground. Appreciate your service to our country.
Absolutely. And, boy, you're going to be excited about what your little brother's doing because he has been a force tonight. It's been fun.
That's a good point. It is fun watching Josh McClure run around out there. Oscar, not to change the subject, I do have another score which might be of particular interest to Colonel fans. William Campbell is up 20-7 at halftime over Central Lunenburg. Interesting score there. Not that I didn't completely see it coming, but it does surprise me a little bit. We knew William Campbell was going to be a lot better this year. Looks like the Generals might be for real. I'd like to see them hold on and win that game against Central Lunenburg. No disrespect to Lunenburg. I mean, I like what they did, but you kind of root for the local teams a little bit more. And I guess since Altavista is going to play Campbell later on, maybe points-wise, I don't know. Maybe. Well, actually, you should root for Campbell because then if the Colonels beat Campbell, they'll get more points for the win. That's actually how you should look at it. So maybe Colonel fans should be rooting for the Generals.
Yeah, and that William Campbell team last year was young. We knew that they were going to cause problems. Certainly this year, they were a good team at the end of the season last year.
Yeah.
So that again, you're right. That's not really a surprise.
No, it's not much of a surprise at all. And the Generals are still running that single wing offense. They've got Tyrell Staten and some of those other guys. It looks like Staten has all 3 touchdowns in the first half. Interesting stuff there. JF and Patrick Henry are tied 14-14. Let's take one last time out here on the Subway halftime show, and we'll come back and talk about the football game we're watching a little bit more. Colonels, Eagles, it's been all Colonels so far, but Prince Edward not out of it. 23-0 Altavista. Quick time out here on 105.5 KD Country.
No one knows trucks like we know trucks. Come see us and you'll agree. From small to tall, we've got it all. Highview Motors, GMC. Come on in. Bring the family and see your friends at Highview Motors, GMC. From small to tall, we've got it all. Highview Motors, GMC.
Prompt, confidential, professional. A-Town Bail Bonds, 434-401-0253. Local, reliable, available 24/7. A-Town Bail Bonds, 434-401-0253. When a friend or family member is arrested and jailed, call a professional. Call Chip Rourke and A-Town Bail Bonds, 434-401-0253. Get answers. Get help. A-Town Bail Bonds, 434-401-0253.
Apple Auto Glass is your windshield repair and replacement center in Lynchburg. You get a free car wash with all windshields replaced in the shop. Apple Auto Glass wants the fans to enjoy the boys of fall this high school football season.
When I feel that chill, smell that fresh cut grass, I'm back in my helmet, cleats, and shoulder pad. Kings of the school, man, where the boys of fall.
Apple Auto Glass salutes the boys of fall.
Bank with the local team. Bank of the James on Main Street in Altavista. Stop by our office today to talk with Bobby Walker and his team of local bankers to learn about local banking with Bank of the James. We offer a full line of personal and business banking products and services, including online banking and bill pay, personal and commercial loans and lines of credit, and mortgage loans. Bank with the local team. Bank of the James. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Back to the press box for high school sports on 105.5 KD Country.
Subway halftime show wrapping up here from English Stadium in Altavista, the friendly confines of the press box at Altavista. And as Bob Alvis and I always point out, one of the only press boxes I know, Oscar, that's the football and basketball press box all in one. You look out one side for football, you look out the other side for basketball. Interesting setup. Ty Gafford and Dean Hubbard doing a great job as always to manage this crowd here and keep everything fun and safe for everybody. And again, it is a nice crowd out here tonight. Appears everybody's sticking around for some more football in the second half.
Tunstall 14, Gretna 10. Some other scores as we go through.
You had a score there. Appomattox was up 14-0 over Rustburg at halftime. That's another one that I was interested in, of course.
Glass trailing Halifax 38-18.
The beauty of technology, folks. It's 23-0 here. Altavista on top. Let's talk about maybe some adjustments. Won't say the Colonels don't need to make any adjustments. It's not like they played a perfect game, but nothing really stands out to me, Mr. Briggs. I don't know. Maybe just mix up the play calling a little bit, maybe throw the ball a bit more, but they have thrown the ball well. I mean, Adams with the 55-yard touchdown pass to Walker Allens. Adams also has a rushing touchdown from 5 yards.
Yeah, they've thrown the ball okay, enough to keep Prince Edward off balance. And if you're Prince Edward, I think they've been successful enough. You're only trailing really by 3 possessions if you can, can convert on the 2-point extra point. And they've had success running the ball. Certainly Bigelow's been able to chew up some yardage against the Colonels. So, I mean, that's an option for them. I think that's when they've had the biggest success.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. I mean, Prince Edward's not out of this. Colonels do have 3 touchdowns and a safety. Mateo Malbeck has the other touchdown on the 30-yard interception return for a TD. Colonels blocked a punt for a safety. We didn't really get a clean look on who was in there because a couple Colonels were in there, so we'll call it a team safety for right now. Yeah, Prince Edward is not out of this. Bigelow's going to get the football more. You can be sure of that. I think they need to find some different ways to get Delquan Bigelow the ball. They sort of run the same play where they turn around and hand it to him, and he just kind of picks a hole. Here comes a short pop-up kick. It's going to land in bounds. Prince Edward might have this football on a pooch kick, modified onside. Prince Edward bench signaling they have it. Now the officials signaling they have it. That's Prince Edward football on the onside kick over there on the far sideline. They'll start in Altavista territory on the 39-yard line. So just like that, business is about to pick up here. Prince Edward could get right back in this football game to start the third quarter.
That little pooch kick gave Altavista trouble last week at Lunenburg, and I guarantee you that Prince Edward saw some film of that.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. They took advantage over there. Nobody really ran over there to catch it for the Colonels. I think there was some miscommunication. Prince Edward will scrimmage here with first down from the right hash mark. Wide side of the field is to the left. They're working left to right. They hand it to Bigelow again. He breaks out of a couple tackles, and he's still on his feet, rumbling across the first down marker. He's down to the 20-yard line, now bottled up by the Colonel's secondary and thrown backwards for emphasis. But a 15-yard pickup right off Jump Street for Delquan Bigelow and the Prince Edward Eagles.
Boy, and that's where youth and inexperience can be a problem here. The Colonels were a little bit taken aback by that onside kick, and then right away Bigelow rips off a big run.
They've got some momentum. It looks like a man down for Altavista. Coach Sharn is going to go out there and check it out along with Angela Emerson, the trainer. We'll keep it right here for just a minute. It could be a cramping situation. Colonels lead 23-0. It was 3 touchdowns in the first half for Altavista. 1 rushing, 1 passing, 1 on defense, and 1 safety on special teams. But the second half has gotten off to an interesting start. Onside kick for Prince Edward is recovered by the kicking team, the Eagles. And then they run off a 15-yard gain on first down. I think we're going to take a timeout. The man injured for Altavista is staying down a little longer than we thought. So let's step aside for a quick 30-second break. 23-0. Colonels on top. Prince Edward football. Early stages of the third quarter when you come back to 105.5 KD Country.
English is so much more. English is more than a hardware store. English is.
Are you planning a painting project this fall? English's is now your authorized dealer for Valspar paint. Valspar, well known for its quality and color selection. Stop by English's in Altavista. Let their paint department help you make your next painting project a success.
English's is your complete home center.
Finch and Finch Funeral and Cremation Service. A family serving family since 1905. Personal, memorable memorial moments, celebrating life and more. Pre-arrangements with confidence, trust and care from our family to yours. Finch and Finch Funeral and Cremation Service. A family serving family since 1905.
Start your business on the winning drive with an Altavista revolving loan. It's an opportunity to score big for your company's future growth. Funds available up to $10,000. Loan rate 1% below prime. Huddle up with Altavista Economic Development Director Dennis Jarvis II at Altavista Town Hall. Make your move today. The Altavista Revolving Loan Fund encourages economic development and enhances community vitality.
Your high school sports station with award-winning coverage on 105.5 KD Country.
Colonels lead 23-0 over Prince Edward, but all of a sudden, Oscar, a 23-0 lead doesn't feel that big anymore, as the man hobbling off after being injured is none other than Jacob Adams, the quarterback for the Altavista Colonels, who has a rushing touchdown and a passing touchdown tonight, including some very good defensive plays. He's going to lay over there on his back on the sideline. We'll keep an eye on him. 1st and 10 for Prince Edward. First possession of the third quarter, and they weren't even supposed to get it. They got an onside kick. This running play not going much of anywhere. Maybe a 2-yard pickup up the gut for Delquan Bigelow.
They were treating Jake like it was a cramp.
Yeah, they had his leg up like they were trying to stretch it out. He hobbled off on one foot. So it's certainly something with the leg. We probably won't speculate any more than that. They've still got his left leg up in the air like they're trying to maybe stretch out a hammy or a calf muscle or something. 2nd down on the way for Prince Edward. They'll snap this ball from the right center, just past the 20-yard line. We'll call it the 17-yard line. Pass floating up over there in the left flat is complete. Receiver will race it down to the 12-yard line, bottled up by Mateo Malbeck. It looks to be Brandon Scott on the grab over there. Again, that pass floated, but Scott had enough time and enough space to catch and make some moves.
Nice drive here by Prince Edward as they continue to take this opening drive. 10:46 remaining here in the third quarter in the red zone against the Colonels.
In case you're wondering, Shaheem Pennell is probably going to be the backup quarterback. Mateo Malbeck has some quarterbacking experience, and they toyed with the idea of having him there in the offseason. 3rd and short for Prince Edward. They'll turn. They'll hand it to Bigelow. Bigelow's going to try right tackle. Might have been a hold over there on that right side. He'll race it out to the sideline. Push down and out of bounds. I think he's got enough for the necessary 1st down yardage. Colonels really wanted a hold over there at the point of attack. No flags out. So this will probably be 1st and goal when they move the sticks. Might be from the 9-yard line. They're waiting.
That's a good call, Kyle. They did spot it. Looked like he spotted right inside the 10-yard line. Excuse me. That is going to be a 1st and goal from about 9.5 yards.
3 wide receivers to the left. That's the wide side of the field. Prince Edward will snap this one from the right hash mark. Bigelow set up right behind Thomas like he has most of the night. Thomas wants to throw. Slant route. Hit the shoulder pads of the receiver. Then bounces out of bounds harmlessly. Incomplete. That'll bring up 2nd and goal from the 9.5.
A little bit too much gas behind that throw.
And it could still be a case that he is a little gun shy, a little quick from all the action that he had taken early in the game. Speaking of the quarterback, number 10, Joel Thomas. He's a junior for Prince Edward. Gets his team to the line again. 3 wide receivers to the wide side. That's the left. Colonels lead 23-0, trying to preserve the shutout here. 2nd and goal for Prince Edward. They give it to Bigelow. Bigelow's got 2 Colonels draped all over his jersey, and here comes the cavalry. Bigelow never went to the turf, but it didn't matter. His forward momentum was stopped about 5 yards deep. Good defensive play there by Altavista.
Boy, big-time stop for the Colonels. That puts him back.
That's about the 14 where they spot it, so it is about a 5-yard loss. Maybe closer to the 15. 3rd and goal.
Colonels continue to transition people in and out. Dante Poindexter out of the game right now. Good job by the Colonel coaching staff of getting fresh players in.
They're getting substitutes in, and they're making sure they're in and lined up and ready to go. 3-3 defense for Colonels. Looks like man coverage on the receivers. They're going to throw to the back of the end zone. Allen there in coverage. Does he have the pick? Waiting for a signal over there in the corner of the end zone. I think he intercepted it. This would be a touchback. Yes, it is. Walker Allen with his 2nd interception of the game, and this one is a big one to deny Prince Edward some points down there near the goal line.
Bend but not break, and that was huge off that onside kick recovery by Prince Edward for the Colonels. Prince Edward marched it down, got inside 1st and goal, inside the 10, and the Colonels to turn them away with no points is huge.
That is huge. Walker Allen's 2nd pick of the day. This one, he had to jump up for it. Allen is listed at 6'2", but plays much bigger than that with his athleticism and long arms. He really skied up there nicely to take that ball out of the air, out of the hands of the Prince Edward receiver. Colonels football with 9:30 left to play in the Select Air third quarter. They lead 23-0. Bend but don't break is right, Oscar. 3 receivers, 2 to the right, 1 to the left. They'll hand off to Nelson Dews. Dews sifting his way to the defensive line. Falls down sort of on his own momentum there after a small gain. 3-yard pickup, we'll call it, as he moves it to the 23-yard line.
And Jake Adams is in at quarterback, and he's moving very gingerly as well.
Yeah, maybe less running plays for Jacob Adams, although Adams, they haven't called his number a ton. He has carried the ball some, and he does have the 5-yard touchdown run, of course. Dante Poindexter in as a blocking back over there on the right side, set up between right guard and right tackle. Nelson Dews to the left of Jacob Adams in the backfield. 3 receivers. They hand it to Nelson again. Nelson not much blocking this time. Prince Edward broke through the right side of that O-line and shoved Nelson Dews back to the 16. Loss there for the Colonels, and that'll make it 3rd, and we'll say 14 here. 8:40 left to play in the 3rd. 23-0 Altavista on top over Prince Edward.
And that's certainly one of the biggest breakdowns we've seen in that offensive line, allowing Prince Edward to get into the backfield.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Prince Edward has had some occasions where they've had a guy in the backfield. That time they had about 4 guys in the backfield. That whole defensive line really stunted nicely to the play and stopped Nelson before he could ever get it going. Nelson Dew is going to stay in the ball game. Jacob Adams working some people around, trying to get his offense to organize. They got 3 receivers over there to the left side. That's the wide side of the field. Colonels will snap this one right hash mark, 17-yard line. 8:04 left to play in the 3rd. Adams got a throw. He was hit as he did, looking for Mateo Mall back on the right sideline. Adams had to unload it quickly, and I think that threw off the timing there. Incomplete. Colonels are going to be forced to punt here on 4th and 14.
Well, that's that time and play where the quarterback throws the ball really as the receiver breaks or before they even break. And that combination just haven't had time to develop that yet. That could play big later in the year as they continue to develop that timing. But, again, this early in the season and with that youth, just haven't had time for that to be a weapon yet.
I agree. When you can get that play to perfection, it's almost impossible for a defense to stop, but it does take some time. Snap is wide. Allen had to race to his left to run it down. Walker gets off a nice booming punt, fielded by Delquan Bigelow at the 45. He's across the 50, now to the other 45, still running towards the sideline, tries a stiff arm. He is pushed out of bounds by number 44, Dante Poindexter. Looked like a sumo match there momentarily as Dante just threw Delquan out of the ring. But it's a decent gain and decent field position here for Prince Edward. They'll start in Altavista territory again. Second time this quarter that they can say that. 7:46 remains in the Select Air 3rd quarter. Colonels lead 23-0 over Prince Edward.
Haven't seen if Adams is still in the game defensively. He is.
Yeah, he's out there, so he must be okay. And now we can sort of assume that maybe it was a cramp. Huh?
Yeah, he's still walking a little gingerly. I don't, but hey, he's a gamer.
That's right. At 75%, Jacob Adams is better than most guys at 100%. It's better than you and me at about 200%. Timeout on the field. Prince Edward didn't have things designed the way they like it, so they'll take a break here. We'll take it with them. Colonels lead 23-0. First down for the Eagles when you come back to 105.5 KD Country.
Hello, this is Jerry Motley from 1433 Altavista Moose Center. Asking everybody to come on down and join us and see what the Moose is all about to help us support our Moose Heart, Moose Haven family. Anybody's welcome to come down and take a tour of our building and see what's going on. Come on down and we'll let you in and we can have some fun. We're looking forward.
Meet Jerry and the rest of the Altavista Moose family and become a member. The Altavista Moose Family Center on Lynch Mill Road.
Now back to the action with Colonel Sports on 105.5 KD Country.
7:46 remaining in the 4th quarter. 3rd quarter, excuse me. Having so much fun, I forgot what quarter it was. It's the 3rd quarter, folks. I'm sorry. Still a lot of football left. But I do know the 3rd quarter brought to you by Select Air, Oscar.
Your future's so bright you got to wear shades.
Timbuk 3 was the name of that band. Great 80s. If you want to talk 80s music, we're going to be here all night, brother, because I'm really into that. Music in general. First down here for Prince Edward. They're going to throw. Looking over the middle for Bigelow. He had his hands on it. Falls incomplete. Bigelow felt some pressure. Jonathan Montague was there. Mateo Malback was around. And Walker Allen was blanketing him in coverage as well.
Joel Thomas also felt some pressure from Jacob Adams.
Jacob Adams is, again, probably at 75%. He laid on the ground for about 5 minutes because of what we suspect was some cramping issues. But he seems to be getting back to full strength. Colonel's defense has really been at full strength all night. They've been a little bit, but they haven't broken. Still pitching the shutout. Altavista on top, 23-0. 7:42 left to play in the third quarter. They'll turn and hand it to Bigelow. Bigelow sidesteps Dante Poindexter. Can't sidestep Matt Aiken. He's run down, actually still on his feet. He went very close to the turf, but must have kept the knees and the hips off the ground. He's actually going to get this for a 3-yard gain, Mr. Briggs.
Boy,
That's pretty good stuff.
Yeah, excuse me, Kyle, but Dante Poindexter blew that play up. He penetrated and really forced Bigelow to go outside, and good pursuit there from the rest of the Colonel's defense.
That's probably, with a back of the quality nature of Delquan Bigelow, that's probably a win to hold him to just 3 yards. It'll call it 3rd and 7, our situation now here. Prince Edward, right hash mark, 43-yard line. They need to get down to the 36-yard line. Thomas is going to get the offense ready. Offensive line down and set. 1 tight end to the left, 2 receivers to the left, 1 receiver to the right. They'll hand it to Delquan Bigelow again, right up the gut. Not a whole lot doing there. Stephen Farmer going to throw him backwards with a bit of a modified suplex. The rest of the team was all over him as well. Farmer helps Bigelow up, gives him a pat on the helmet, says, "Not this time, guy." 4th and 7. Let's see if Prince Edward goes for it here, Oscar. It looks like they're thinking about it anyway.
Well, I think you have to, but the player at the bottom of the pile that time that made initial contact was Josh McClure.
McClure is playing solid. He's going to come out for a little breather here. Adams is going to come out as well. As Oscar pointed out on the last trip, Altavista continues to cycle personnel in and out, trying to give guys breathers and keep them fresh. Punting formation for Prince Edward. Play clock down to 3 seconds. They got to hurry. They want to try and get it off. They're not going to get it off. Did they call a timeout before the penalty? Yes, they did. Timeout on the field for Prince Edward. 4th and 7 on the way. When you come back, Colonel's lead 23-0 on 105.5 KD Country.
Here at Best Bet Motor Sales with Terrell to tell us all about the Best Bet Buy of the Week.
Thanks, Lori. This week's Buy of the Week is a 2008 Ford Explorer. This vehicle is great. It's all-wheel drive. It's super, super clean. Brand new tires, automatic transmission, all your power equipment, serviced, state inspected, and ready to roll at only $89.95, and financing is available. Come see us at Best Bet Motors, 29 South.
Best Bet Motor Sales, 29 south of Lynchburg.
Your home for Colonel sports coverage. 105.5 KD Country.
I'm Kyle Haney. He is Oscar Briggs. You've got it tuned to the right place. It's 105.5 KD Country. Colonel's on top, 23-0. A very excited and boisterous press box tonight, Oscar. I love it. Lets you know it's a good Friday night here in September. Punt formation. Snap is back. Prince Edward is going to kick it away. Thought they were thinking about a fake. This ball will land on the 12-yard line. Mateo Malback lets it roll, bounces back to the 12 after a Prince Edward roll, and that's where the home team Altavista Colonels will start. They'll scrimmage from about the 12-yard line, far hash mark, with 6:40 remaining in the third quarter.
Boy, sometime if you're Mateo Malback, you got to hope that they put a return on. It is early in the season, and that's one of the things that as you get deeper into the season, you add to your arsenal. But you can see him just chomping at the bit with every punt, wanting to get his hands on the ball. And he's got a lot of his brother in him. It all comes from their father, too, that they can make a play.
Yeah, Mateo is a home run hitter, just like Michi is, and that means he can take the ball to the house at any given moment. We saw it on the interception return. 4 wide receivers for the Altavista Colonels here on first down. They'll put a man in motion. That is the aforementioned Mateo Malback. They hand it off up the gut this time to Jonathan Montague, though. Small pickup there on first down. Monty fell forward for a 3-yard gain. 6:27 left to play in the Select Air third quarter. Select Air, repairs and new installations too. They do it all with prompt and courteous service online at selectairmechanical.com.
Boy, Shaheem Pennell in the game now. Haven't seen him on the offensive side of the ball.
You're right. We've seen Shaheem on special teams and defense some. Not much on offense yet. He's in the slot here as a receiver. 2 of them to each side for Adams. Adams going to throw on second down. Might be looking for Shaheem Pennell. He is, but this ball hung up, intercepted by Prince Edward. It's caught on about the 40-yard line by Michael Dupey. Dupey thrown down around the 26-yard line. Shaheem ran that wheel route, and he was being bothered over there by the cornerback, but maybe he wasn't in the area to catch the ball, or maybe the officials just didn't see it. Either way, it's another turnover for the Colonels on second down.
Who intercepted that ball?
Peanut Dupey. Michael Peanut Dupey is on the roster here. A couple guys on this roster for Prince Edward have nicknames listed on the roster, which that's something Oscar and I hadn't seen, and we had some fun with it. There's certainly some good nicknames. I think on top of the list is number 52, K9 Cordell.
Oh, yeah. K9, you got Kimi, that's Peanut. Delquan is Dada. Khalil Smith is Sock. So you got some pretty neat names there. But
you do have some good names.
You know, right now, trailing 23-0, nicknames don't mean much.
That's right. You need points on the board. But Prince Edward, good field position again. Oscar, third time they've started in Altavista territory this quarter. They'll snap this one from about the 27-yard line. Left hash mark. Short side is over to the Colonel's bench. Bigelow just going to drive his way forward across the 20 to the 19. Same play. They give it to Bigelow. He can go up the middle. He can bounce it outside. He can do whatever he wants. More often than not, he gains yards. Colonels have done a nice job bottling up and limiting him.
Yeah, and change of quarterback for this series. Smith is in at quarterback.
Good point.
He's a sophomore.
Number 1, Khalil Sox Smith.
That's right.
Nickname trend. I kind of like the nickname Sox. I'll give you that. He's got Delquan Bigelow set up right behind him, getting the offensive line straight. 2 receivers each side. Left guard moved early. This penalty will go against Prince Edward. It'll back him up 5 yards, and we'll call it 2nd and 8 now, with 5:16 remaining in the Select Air third quarter. Altavista on top, 23-0. Oscar, in this third quarter, defense has really been stressed. First there was the onside kick. They got it back another time because of the punt. Colonels punted, but Delquan Bigelow returned it into Altavista territory. And then here they have it in Colonels territory after the interception return.
Of course, the interception by Walker Allen.
Walker Allen does have a pick in this third quarter in the end zone to go along with the one he had in the second quarter. 2 receivers to each side for Prince Edward. Smith got the offense set. Bigelow right behind him in the pistol. They fake it to Bigelow. Smith going to try and bounce it outside. Shakes the first defender. Going to try and shake the rest of them. Jacob Adams runs him out to the second lane of the track, out of bounds over there on the far sideline into the Prince Edward bench. It is a gain of yards. He did not get a first down, though. It's going to make it 3rd, and I'm guessing 4 or 5, Mr. Briggs.
That was a nice little move in the backfield. That he had a couple of Colonels closing in on him. He did a little dance move, swung the ball out wide, and was able to get to the edge and pick up some positive yardage, Kyle.
This is actually 3rd and 6. Normally we get the spots wrong the other way. This time it ends up being more yardage for Prince Edward to gain. 3rd and 6, far hash mark. Altavista defense looks like they're showing blitz. They hand it off to Delquan Bigelow. Bigelow, right tackle, spin move across the 20. Sidesteps another guy. Dropped short. He was close to the first down marker, and then he retreated and went backwards, tried to get outside, but it didn't work out well.
Boy, nice.
He's going to be 2 yards short.
That was a great open field tackle by Trey Robinson. As Bigelow's been able to get away from just about everybody tonight, but he did that little spin move on Trey Robinson. Robinson just great open field, classic textbook technique to bring him down.
Yep, looks like another timeout on the field. This is an injury timeout, I believe. We'll keep it right here. Yeah, Delquan Bigelow is not easy to bring down. His running style with the fast feet, reminiscent of Barry Sanders, and he kind of does the high knees a little bit like Dickerson and some of those guys. He's got a good running style. I mean, you can tell when he gets the ball, he's a polished running back. I'm not sure that his blocking has been great in front of him, but Delquan Bigelow can really play. I think they ended up taking a timeout, Oscar, but let's just keep it right here since we might have used about 15 or 20 seconds of it. Colonels lead 23-0. It's been all Colonels. A passing touchdown from Jacob Adams to Walker Allen. A rushing touchdown for Jacob Adams. An interception return touchdown for Mateo Malback. And then a blocked punt for safety from the Colonels' special teams. Add up to 23 points. Walker Allen has converted all 3 of his extra points tonight, which is a big change from last week where the Colonels struggled so much on the extra point operation. Our operation appears to be getting better as the season goes on for us too, Oscar. We're having a good time. The sound quality is better.
Certainly helps being at home.
It does.
A couple other scores, 14-7 now. Appomattox leading Rustburg as Rustburg gets on the board. Still 14-10. Tunstall leading Gretna. Those 2 scores are certainly of interest.
Colonels, a few of them down on one knee. Mike Rev is talking to a group. It looks like he's sort of got the defensive line in a half huddle over there talking to them. This timeout ended up lasting a while. We probably could have taken it to break, but I'm glad that we stayed here. And glad that you've joined us on this first Friday in September. Labor Day weekend, always some good stuff going on. We mentioned college football getting started. That's always a lot of fun, even if you're a UNC fan like Mr. Briggs to my right here. There's still a lot of good things to watch. Baseball season really winding down. I love this time of the year in baseball season. September baseball, Oscar. Golf season as well. Hey, good time to mention that golf team still undefeated. The Altavista volleyball team undefeated as well. So the Colonels football team, not the only outstanding fall sport this year for Altavista.
No, continued excellence of fall sports. Another score out of Naruna, 27-21. William Campbell, Lunenburg making a big push getting back in that ball game.
Man, if this game gets done in time, we might just have to hop in the car. We might be able to get over to Naruna in 15 or 20 minutes. Might be worth catching the end of that. Of course, Colonels lost to Central Lunenburg last week by a touchdown. It was a hard-fought game. Colonels trailed the whole time. So tonight is a change in that category as well. Altavista has never trailed in this one. They lead 23-0. Oscar pointing something?
No,
signal?
no.
Do we have signals now?
No, we don't have any signals.
I don't have our whiteboard this year that we had last year. That actually came in handy. One of the best ideas that I've ever had. Best idea that you have had is tuning into us. This timeout has lasted a while. I didn't see anybody down on the field, Oscar. If it was an injury timeout, I'm slightly confused, which is probably par for the course. It's about how I live my life.
I was going to say, that's not a stretch around here.
Speak for yourself, man. Altavista is going to get lined back up. We're ready to play some football again here. We apologize for the delay. Of course, there's nothing we could do about it. It's 23-0. Colonel's on top. It's a fourth down situation for Prince Edward. It's not must-have territory, but they'd really like to capitalize on one of these good starting field positions they've had in the third quarter. They give it to Bigelow. No, they fake it. This is a keeper by Khalil Smith. Smith across the 15, falls down. I think he still got enough for the first down, but boy, that slip came very close to the first down marker. Khalil Smith had a lot of open field to run. He sold the fake to Bigelow nicely.
Yes, he did, and the only thing that kept him from getting 6 right there is that his footing went out from under him.
It is a first down for the Prince Edward Eagles. Good play fake there by Khalil Smith. That'll give them a fresh set of downs. Near side hash mark over here by the Colonel's bench. Prince Edward working right to left from our perspective, back towards Bedford Avenue. 2 receivers to each side, one of them in close in a slot here to the right. Shotgun snap. Sox Smith wanted to throw there on first down. He's chased out of the pocket. Needs to get rid of it, and he does. Is it going to be intentional grounding? I don't see a flag just yet. He did not look for a receiver, and the pass did not get by the line of scrimmage marker, which is usually something that has to happen. He was racing over there near the sideline, so the officials are going to give him the benefit of the doubt. He was clearly out of the tackle box, but a lot of times it still has to get past the line of scrimmage marker. No flags on the play, though, so our conversation really a moot point.
Yeah, it is a moot point.
It's another way you live your life. A lot of those. 4 minutes remaining in the Select Air third quarter. 23-0. Colonel's on top. Second down on the way here for Prince Edward. They're deep in Altavista field position for the third time this quarter. They hand it to Delquan Bigelow. Bigelow, 10-5, touchdown. He's in the end zone. First score of the night for Prince Edward comes from the feet of the shifty Delquan Bigelow. 16-yard touchdown.
That was actually number 2, Trey Scott. Different look for them at quarterback, and Bigelow not in the game at that time.
Brandon Trey Scott on the carry there. Boy, running style very reminiscent of Delquan Bigelow. My apologies to any Prince Edward fans that are listening around the Farmville area. It was Brandon Scott on the touchdown, and it looks like the way Prince Edward is huddling up, they may want to go for 2 here after the touchdown. 23-6 right now. Colonel's on top.
That's the right play. Trailing 23-6. That would make them 8 and still put them in 2 possessions.
They are going to go for 2. Tight formation. 2 tight ends. Looks like 1 to each side. 2 running backs to the side of Smith. Smith fakes the handoff. Now he's headed to the goal line. Football came out as he was short of the goal line. So that conversion attempt, no good. Good job by the Altavista Colonels defense to stop them there. 23-6. Altavista still leads, but Prince Edward has scored. 3:55 left to play in the third when you come back to 105.5 KD Country.
The heat is here, and so is Select Air. Their trained technicians will respond to any heating and cooling problem with prompt and courteous service. And you can get 10% off any call when you have a service contract with Select Air. Visit selectairmechanical.com. That's selectairmechanical.com to learn more about the team that can handle any home problem, including plumbing, electrical issues, and of course, heating and cooling. Selectairmechanical.com. And they're an authorized trained dealer. It's hard to stop a train.
Your station for high school sports play-by-play is 105.5 KD Country.
Prince Edward had plenty of opportunities in the Select Air third quarter. They finally cash in on one for 6 points. It's a 16-yard touchdown by Brandon Scott. Colonel's defense really wanted to hold on to the shutout, Oscar, but the field position Prince Edward kept having, you felt like it was a matter of time before Prince Edward cashed in.
The Colonels just gave them too many opportunities. Were really never able to get the offense on the field for any kind of time to flip the field. Watch for the onside kick here.
Yeah, they tried it last time. They'll kick it short again. Pooch kick. Fielded this time cleanly after the fair catch by, was it number 89, Walker Allen over there?
It was Walker Allen.
Okay, good job by Walker Allen. Called for the fair catch, safe play. And the Colonels will start on their own 36-yard line. That's why that little pooch kick is such a dangerous weapon, Oscar. You have a chance to get it back, but if the other team recovers it, you really haven't given up that much field position. With a true onside kick, the other ball club usually gets it around the 50. Here, Altavista's starting about where they would start anyway after a regular kick return.
Well, certainly they may have given up 10 yards, but the smart play is that fair catch. I mean, that is that's the safe thing.
Colonel's offense looks to be ready to operate from scrimmage. Left hash mark. That's the far side hash mark from us. Altavista in the home black jerseys and black pants going left to right from our perspective away from Bedford Avenue. Adams going to turn and hand it to Jonathan Montague. Montague's got some room up the middle. Oh, boy. Montague only had the safety to beat for some seriously long yardage. It was a 12-yard pickup anyway, though, as Jonathan Montague rumbling right up the heart of that defense.
Shoestring tackle got him. Now he's stretching out his calf. You can tell he's a little bit tight.
It was hot this week, and I asked Coach Sharness after the interview, did you take it easy on the guys a little bit because of the heat? He said, no, not really. Just made them drink some more water, but we pretty much did our normal schedule and worked them as hard as we wanted to. Adams going to turn and hand it to Montague again. Monty right up the middle. This time not as much room. Does pick up 2 yards as he falls down just at the tip of the A logo out there at midfield from Altavista, 50-yard line.
Yeah, he was ready to come out, and Nelson was ready to come in for him. So that was a good substitution.
Slightly gassed there by Jonathan Montague. 2nd and 8 here for the Altavista Colonels. Glad you've tuned in to 105.5 KD Country, WKDE, Altavista, Lynchburg. Maybe you're listening online at kdcountry.com or with the TuneIn app. If you are, go like us on Facebook. Blocking back in this time is Aaron Close. They're going to fake it to Nelson Dews, and Jacob Adams is going to run. Runs through a couple tackles. He's across the 45, the 40, all the way to the 30. Adams still on his feet. Nice block outside by Allen. Oh, they threw a flag out. Adams runs out of the final tackle for the end zone. It's going to be for naught, though. This is going to be a block in the back on the Colonels. Still going to be a big gain, Oscar, because it came around the 10 or 15-yard line. This will probably spot the ball around the 25, but it does wipe off a very good Jacob Adams touchdown run. That would have been a 50-yard TD pickup, but it's going to get wiped off.
Boy, great vision by Jacob on that run. And you don't know who they're calling in high school. You don't know who they're calling that on. He threw it at the feet of Walker Allen, and if they're calling that hold on Walker Allen, it's an awful call. Walker was engaged with the kid. The kid face-to-face, and at the very last minute as Adams ran by, the kid turned. Walker turned loose of who he was blocking, but that, my opinion, doesn't matter.
Well, you see that sometimes where a guy will block a man cleanly, and the guy getting blocked says, I'll just turn around and show my back to the defender, and maybe I can get a call. Now, not necessarily that that's what happened there, but that does happen a lot, and it's tough for an official because you're just seeing flashes. And officials are on the move, too, along with the players, so it's not an easy call.
The Colonels do such a good job with their wide receivers blocking downfield.
Yep.
So it's really frustrating when that does happen.
Change it quarterback now. Jacob Adams is going to come out for a little breather after the long run. Shaheem Pennell is in there at quarterback. Barking out the signals right now, looking over the defense. Puts Aaron Close in motion as the blocking back. Pinnell's going to run it himself, and he is taken off. Man, he had one guy to beat, too. It was a linebacker, big number 54, Brandon McKay, that swatted him to the turf. Pinnell had a full head of steam. He's only going to pick up 2 or 3 on first down there, but you can tell Shaheem Pinnell itching to get in there and run that football.
Shaheem's only 5'7", 165, and that might be 165, might be pushing it. Colonel fans, if you haven't seen Shaheem, buddy, he has got speed to burn. He will be a factor later in this season as he starts to get more experience. They're going to have to find a way to get him on the field. He'll have to gain some confidence, but he's the kind of athlete that can be a game changer.
Got to love what Shaheem Pinnell brings to the table. He's out. Adams is back in. They hand it to Chancellor Mormon. Mormon's got some room on the wide receiver sweep. He is lassoed down with a waist tackle around the 10-yard line, maybe the 11. Good job to put Chancellor Mormon in motion around the left side. Turned it up nicely and had some blocking outside. First down yardage. I think it's going to make it 1st and 10 from about the, it might be 1st and goal. Let's see where they spot that stick. No, it's from about the 10.5-yard line, isn't it, Oscar?
Yeah, that's
get a first down without getting a touchdown.
Yeah, they're actually marked it back almost at the 11, which is a good break for the Colonels.
1:35 remaining in the Select Air third quarter. It's Altavista 23, Prince Edward 6. Colonel's knocking on the door again, though. They hand it to Nelson Dews. Dews thrown backwards. He lost the football. Nelson Dews lost the football. Prince Edward has it. That's a fumble there. I don't know if Nelson Dews ever had it cleanly. Jacob Adams was running off the field, kind of knocking his helmet. Maybe he didn't get the football in the gut of Nelson Dews. Either way, it doesn't really matter. It's another turnover for the Colonels. Third one they've had today, Oscar. We thought maybe it had appeared that they'd cleaned up some of those turnover issues, but now 3 of them last week, 3 of them here today. It's not good news for Altavista. Prince Edward will take over in Altavista territory on the 11-yard line.
No, frustrating.
In their own territory, pardon me.
No, that's fine. It was certainly frustrating. A nice little drive put together there by the Colonels after the score by Prince Edward. Looked like they were going to answer, and then to come up empty. Nice job by Prince Edward stripping that ball and gaining that recovery.
Gretna's starting to pull away a little bit from Tunstall. They lead 23-14. Keep it here, though, because it looks like the Eagles, if they could put together a drive, Prince Edward will be squarely back in this football game. Stone still in there at quarterback. He turns and hands it to Bigelow. Bigelow shut down right at the line of scrimmage and thrown backwards. Good job by the Colonel's defensive line. There's Shaheem Pinnell in there on defense making a play, along with pretty much the entire Altavista D-line and linebacking crew. 65 seconds left to play here in this third quarter. Altavista 23, Prince Edward 6. 2nd and 9 coming up for the Eagles. They scrimmage this one from the far hash mark, Oscar. I don't know how well Khalil Smith can throw the ball. It seems like it's been all running plays since he's been in.
Brandon Scott back in the backfield, continued to use fresh legs against this Colonel's defense, who's been on the field a ton here in this third quarter.
Scott set up right behind the quarterback. They tried the reverse, and that ball came out. Altavista has it now. Colonels get it right back. Boy, fall into some trouble and come out smelling like roses there. Did Altavista recover it, or did Prince Edward get it back again? This is the second time we've had this.
Same end of the field.
Yeah, it really has been. It's been on that right side, far hash mark every time. It looked like Dante Poindexter was there. Prince Edward got it back. Going to make it 3rd and long.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, from this angle, it looks like the ball's laying there open and a Colonel falls on it, but somehow it's not turning out that way. Again,
it's hard to grab that thing down.
Yeah.
Dante Poindexter is checking out of the game. He doesn't look to be 100% as he hobbles over to the sideline. Stephen Farmer out as well, but that looked like purely conditioning, giving Stephen Farmer a break. Timeout on the field here. Prince Edward took it. We'll take it with him. Actually, it's the third quarter has run out. Clock was still running there at the end of the running play. 23-6. Colonels lead after 3 quarters. Join us for the 4th on 105.5 KD Country.
It's a good show, man.
Man, that was awesome.
Loud crowd. House salad time.
I'll bring it on.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you're going to have to do the encore tonight, buddy.
No, they want to see your face.
They're chanting your name.
Not it, man. They're saying Brett.
Well, I'm taking this with me.
No. I'll hold it for you.
Seriously, don't touch my salad.
Time for my encore now, son.
The house salad. Grilled chicken atop mixed greens, cucumbers, Roma tomatoes, cheddar and jack cheeses, and fried onions. Served with Texas toast. Zaxby's, indescribably good.
Zaxby's, Wards Ferry Road, Lynchburg.
Here's more award-winning high school sports with Kyle and Oscar on 105.5 KD Country.
Altavista 23, Prince Edward at 6. The Colonels have managed a few sloppy moments. They've turned the ball over 3 times. They've gotten some turnovers themselves, though. They've scored off 1 interception return from Mateo Malback. They have not scored this half, Oscar. It's been 6-0 Prince Edward this half, but the 23-0 lead that the Colonels staked themselves to has helped out quite a bit. Let's see how Altavista can finish things here in the 4th quarter. It feels like Prince Edward has the momentum right now, although the Eagles haven't really played a stellar game either, Mr. Briggs, but it does feel like Prince Edward has a little bit of momentum in their favor.
Yeah, a stop here from the Colonels would be big.
Yeah, it's 3rd and long for Prince Edward. This, I will say, for the Altavista defense, they've been pretty good in these situations. They haven't given up very many big plays tonight. Bigelow broke off one. Felt like it was a 24, 25, 26-yard run. But for the most part, everything has been pretty manageable, small gains for Prince Edward.
You know, Bigelow hadn't been in the last couple of series, Kyle. You got to wonder if he's the player that was injured over on the sideline that we couldn't see what was going on.
I think you might be exactly right. Passing play here on 3rd and long. Scott has a lot of time to throw. He's going to heave it up high down the near sideline. Colonel's battling for it. It's caught, but out of bounds. Number 14, Brian Moses, went up high to catch it, did a good job to bring it in, but he was a full 2 yards out of bounds when he caught it. Good defense by Altavista to force the pass from from Smith, to go a little wide. And then they had good coverage out there.
Yeah, Nelson Dews had him pinned on the sideline. There was no way that ball was going to be caught in bounds. If it was, it would probably been caught by Nelson Dews.
Yeah, Nelson was aware of where the sideline was, much more so than Brian Moses.
Flag on that play, ineligible receiver downfield. Colonels obviously declined that.
Yeah, it brings up 4th and 15. Yeah, I mean, take your cap off to Brian Moses. He made a nice catch. It was just out of bounds, and as we both mentioned, Nelson knew where the boundary was and played it nicely. The way Prince Edward's huddled up, it's almost like they might want to go for it. They took the penalty. Doesn't feel like there was much loss of yardage there. They're flipping the stick to 4th down. Calling it 4th and 15. I'm going to call it 4th and 15, Oscar. They're going for it here. Passing play on 4th down. Good rush coming from Altavista. They're going to heave to the far side of the field. Complete, except it's an interception of Mateo Malback. Malback wants to return it.
That's
flag down. He's running across the 35. He's across the 30. Mateo Malback across the 20. Looking for some blockers. He found him. Cuts back inside. He will just waltz his way into the end zone. I'm guessing the flag is going to go against the Altavista Colonels, and it'll wipe that touchdown off. Either way, it would be a 45 interception return for a touchdown for Mateo Malback. Let's see what the flag is. It's going to be Altavista football. Oscar, you yelled out bat it down because that would have given the Colonels the football inside the 5.
Yeah, that's the prudent play during that long pass on 4th down is to knock it down. But you get these kids that are playmakers and they say, hey, why knock it down when I can get it and go to the end zone, as Mateo did right then?
Yeah, and let me make a point. I wouldn't even just say kids, because you see that in college and the NFL. I mean, those cornerbacks and those safeties, they want the ball in their hands. They think if I pick this off, I can run it back for a touchdown. If I knock it down, we're going to get the ball wherever, and then my quarterback's going to get the touchdown. So not that it's selfishness, but you know what I mean. It's just that playmaking mentality. Officials taking some time to talk it over. It was a bit of a confusing play for us, and maybe they were confused too.
Well, all the contact really happened at the point of the interception with players flying around. The flag came out immediately about the time the ball was caught.
Yeah, I know.
You got to wonder, are they going to – I mean, it certainly wasn't pass interference.
It didn't look like pass interference. I mean, the receiver was nowhere in the area anyway, and I don't think anybody hit him before Mateo caught the ball. But let's wait and see. The officials walking out to the midfield area. They're going to say something or give some kind of a signal. He sort of waved his hand up in the air. He didn't take the flag out.
Face
holding and a face mask. One of them's on Prince Edward at least. I think the touchdown might stand. Boy, the official's body language is so strange. He just kind of half-heartedly giving these signals and pointing in the direction of Prince Edward. I mean, what's the call?
They're walking out with a ball around the 35-yard line. Was a player...
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm at a complete loss here. I mean, the official, again, the signals weren't very clear. Now they're moving back closer to the goal line, I should say, is where they're going. I mean, both the penalties have gone against Prince Edward, yet they're spotting this ball on the 20-yard line. I think it's Altavista football on the 20. They've taken the touchdown off the board. But the Colonels, for some reason, have the football here on the 20-yard line. Does it make any sense to you? I know we sound stupid over the airwaves, but it's hard to figure out.
Yeah, I'm at a loss.
1st and 10, right hash mark, 20-yard line. Colonel's in good field position. They hand it to Jonathan Montague. He's chopped down at the thighs there after a short pickup. Call it a 2-yard gain. It's Altavista football. And we know that. It was an interception by Mateo Malback at the 45-yard line. Flag came out around there. He ran it back for a touchdown. They took the touchdown off the board. They signaled 2 penalties against Prince Edward, but yet somehow Altavista has the ball at the 20-yard line. Who knows? 2nd down now. They actually got it on the 18-yard line. And no points, as Jimmy Mundy pointed out. Running play here by Jacob Adams.
You want to bet?
He runs out of one jersey tackle. There we go. Touchdown. Adams does the honors. Nice job just running clean out of the grip of a Prince Edward defender. Man had at least one hand on his jersey, maybe 2, and that was not enough to haul Jacob Adams down. Touchdown there, 29-6. Colonel's lead, looking to make it 30-6 on the extra point.
Jacob Adams doesn't have the most speed on the field. He's certainly got adequate speed, but his vision is, I'm really impressed with his vision. He continues, again, I know it's the 2nd game, he continues to look like he's maturing out there. His vision's been very good on 3 or 4 runs tonight.
Jacob Adams with an 18-yard touchdown run. Bad snap here. Allen's going to pick it up off one bounce. He's going to try and throw to somebody. He does get away. Got a man there. It's complete for 2. It wasn't exactly how they drew it up. Walker Allen is going bananas. He has thrown for a 2-point conversion. 31-6. Allen gets a couple high fives there.
Did you see who caught the ball?
Was it Traquan Farmer on the
special
grab?
teams guru?
Number 34, Traquan Farmer makes a 31-6 lead. Let's take a timeout and catch our breath. Craziness here as the Colonels expand the lead. 31-6. 10.5 minutes left to play in the 4th quarter on 105.5 KD Country.
The Village Barbershop, an old-school 1960s-style barbershop offering classic and current cutting techniques for gentlemen and boys. No appointment necessary. Responsible pricing in a clean family environment. Village Barbershop, open Tuesday through Friday, 8 to 6, Saturdays till noon. Stop by and see Danny Barber at Village Barbershop, serving Altavista and surrounding areas from 619 Broad Street. Give them a try.
More live high school sports action on 105.5 KD Country.
Some strange things there in the last little sequence of plays, but the Colonels end up with 31 points on the scoreboard. Extra point didn't exactly go by the script. It was a little bit of a low snap. It took one bounce, really just jumped up right in the hands of Walker Allen. He ran to his right and backwards about 5 yards and just sort of heaved it up in the end zone, and Traquan Farmer ran under it. That's the old fire play, Oscar. That's what you run when you have a bad snap. When you have a bad snap, the holder and the kicker are supposed to yell out fire. That's the signal for the eligible receivers to make a break in the end zone. They worked it to perfection there.
Well, they certainly had enough practice with calling fire over the last 2 ball games.
Worked out there, 31-6, Colonel's lead. We saw the craziness on the interception return by Mateo Malback. We thought it was a touchdown. We didn't know what the penalty call was. Either way, Colonels ended up getting some points out of it. 2nd interception of the night for Mateo Malback, by the way. Took the other one back for 6. Long kick by Allen will land on about the 2. Return man running up the middle right here is going to get met by some Colonels. Now runs out of a couple tackles. Looked like Shaheen Pinnell hit him. Also, Nelson Dews was in the area to help bring him to the turf. Chancellor Mormon there as well. Good coverage by Altavista. The return was decent. They got it out to the 26-yard line. Prince Edward's got to go now. 10.5 minutes left on the scoreboard. They trail 31-6. When it was 23-6, it felt like Prince Edward had some momentum in their corner.
I totally agree. They had momentum and were stopping the Colonels. And time of possession that 3rd quarter was ridiculous.
Yeah.
When it comes to Prince Edward having the ball and forcing the Colonels into mistakes.
Prince Edward been in the spread formation all night. They have not gone under center at all. Neither has Altavista for that matter. Two receivers and a tight end. They hand it off to number 13. That's O'Neal Walker. Pardon me. He's thrown backwards and towards the sideline for no gain. In fact, they'll move that stick backwards. We'll call it a 4-yard loss for Walker there on first down. 10:09 remaining in the Select Air fourth quarter. Colonels lead 31-6. Been on top all game. Adams has 2 rushing touchdowns, one from 5 yards deep, the other from 18 yards deep. He's also thrown a 50-yard touchdown pass to Walker Allen. Walker Allen has thrown a 2-point conversion to Traquan Farmer. Interesting night, huh? Handoff here. Goes straight up the gut. Nothing brewing there. Altavista defensive line again. It's Dante Poindexter. He helps up Delquan Bigelow off the turf, the man he just dumped into the grass.
Yeah, when you run when you run in to Dante Poindexter, you're more times than not going to come up as a loser.
Yeah, I mentioned a little sumo battle between those two guys earlier. I bet you Dante Poindexter would be a pretty good sumo wrestler. Gets kind of low, uses the weight, uses the leverage in the hips. And Dante, you know, on the roster is only listed at 225, so there's bigger guys out there. But, man, he plays big and he plays fierce, stout at the point of attack. Whistles come out here before 3rd and 15. Timeout on the field. Prince Edward wants to talk about the decision. We'll talk about it some, too, with the people that make our game possible. 9:05 remaining in the fourth quarter. 31-6, Colonels lead on 105.5 KD Country.
A short drive will save you money.
In the market for a new Chevrolet? Fellers Chevrolet.
FellersDirect.com.
For a huge selection of new Chevrolets and pre-owned vehicles, it's Fellers Chevrolet.
FellersDirect.com.
FellersDirect.com. Selection. Convenience. Fellers Chevrolet.
Fellers Chevrolet.
Always open and only a click away.
FellersDirect.com.
A short drive will save you money. Fellers Chevrolet in Altavista.
Back to the press box for high school sports on 105.5 KD Country.
Might sound cliche, but 3rd and long here. Altavista with a 31-6 lead. I think the Colonels defense is about to pin their ears back and really just run a dead sprint right at whoever the quarterback is on this play for Prince Edward, Oscar. In a passing situation, the Colonels know it.
Yeah, certainly Sock Smith is more mobile than Thomas was, so they'll need to be careful with that. In fact, looks like Thomas is back in the ball game.
I think it is Thomas back in the ball game. He's got 4 receivers, 3 to his right. That's the wide side of the field. 1 to the left. Running back behind him. He's going to throw left. Looking to the left sideline. Oh, caught over there, and a flag comes out. Pass interference. He was looking for number 1, Sock Smith. I think the football actually fell to the turf, although Smith had his hands on it. This is probably going to be pass interference on the Altavista Colonels on Trey Robinson, and this is probably a good call because Robinson bumped him just as Smith was about to get that football.
And never got that head turned back around to make a play on the ball. So
officials talking it over. This one seems pretty easy from up here, but sometimes nothing is easy, and sometimes the explanation is even longer. Sometimes you don't get an explanation. 8:58 remaining in the football game. 31-6, Altavista on top. It is going to be pass interference against the Altavista Colonels. They're stepping off the yardage right now. They're going to move the change. This ball now rests on the 36-yard line. It will produce a fresh set of downs for the for Prince Edward.
Boy, barn burner in Naruna. William Campbell 33, Lunenburg 28.
Bunch of guys moved up front early there on first down. It's going to be a penalty against Prince Edward. Back them up 5 yards. 1st and 15 now with 8:58. Yeah, there's some really good games going on right now. Hope you'll stay with us. Subway postgame show, we should have some finals for you. It looks like 14-7 heading into the fourth quarter. Appomattox in that slim lead over Rustburg.
14-10. Tunstall still leads Gretna.
Oh, no, that score's old there, buddy.
Is it?
I hate to.
Oh, that's good then. If you got
to make
something
it
up there.
sound bad. No, Gretna's,
you're good.
Gretna's up in that one. Let me check my records. Hawks are up 30-14 in that.
Wow.
This play busted up in the backfield, and the football's out. I said Colonels have had it a couple times earlier. I'm going to wait and bite my tongue on this one and see if we can get an official signal. Football came out, and there is the signal. That burned us once before, too, but I feel pretty confident here. Altavista has come up with this football. They hit Joel Thomas in the backfield. He was trying to make an exchange with the running back. I don't think either of them had a really good grasp on that football, and the Colonels ended up with it.
Colonels take over the 23-yard line.
23-yard line starting field position here for Altavista. They're deep in Prince Edward territory, looking to add on to this lead. 31-6 on top right now, and it looks like the Colonels are going to make a few changes with their offensive personnel. Mike Sharness wants to get some guys some experience. Still good amount of starters out there, though. They haven't made wholesale changes. I see Kagan Cox over there still on that left tackle. He's done a nice job tonight. The entire O-line has worked hard up there. I think Kenny Brumfield's still at the center spot. We'll see if we can get a good look. Shaheem Pinnell's in at quarterback. Puts a man in motion, wants to keep it himself. Right up the middle, shuffle step. Not going to be able to run out of the grasp of two Prince Edward defensive linemen. He's thrown backwards for a 1-yard loss. 8:40 left to play in the Select Air fourth quarter. 31-6 Colonels.
Ethan Young into the ball game for the Colonels as they continue to rotate those linemen out.
Yeah, and that is Ken Brunfield coming out of the game, so that answered my question right there. Terrell Robinson still over there at the right guard spot on the offensive line. They're just sort of mixing and matching. Shaheem Pinnell running the quarterback spot. He's got number 10, Christian Gilbert, beside him as a running back.
Chancellor Mormon in the slot.
2nd and 10. They're going to put a man in motion. They hand it to Mormon. Mormon going to try and turn the quarter up the right sideline. He does. Close to the first down marker. Did a hip shake move to try and get free, and he was thrown down over there around the far sideline. I think he got enough for it.
I was going to say, it's going to be close. Looks like he might have come up a little bit short, Kyle. Like 3 yards.
Yeah,
it was hard to tell the way the stick fell down. It was hard to tell.
I thought he was closer than that myself. Colonels will need about 3 yards here on third down. Daniel Triplett has checked in the game on the offensive line.
Also see Jordan Spinner in the game.
New faces, certainly some guys with a lot of talent too, getting their chance right here in the fourth quarter. Pinnell lost the football. This ball's on the ground. Prince Edward has it. It's not on the ground. It's getting returned across the 50. Eagles are going to score unless a Colonel can catch him. They can't. 20, 10, 5. Touchdown, Prince Edward on the fumble recovery for a touchdown. That's on the far side of the field, too. Trying to identify a number over there on that guy that picked up the fumble and ran it back into the house for the Eagles. No flags on the return for Prince Edward either. Makes our score 31-6. That is number 15 for Prince Edward. Tyvon Brown on the fumble recovery and touchdown. It's going to call it an 80-yard fumble return for a touchdown, Oscar, and that unfortunately was my most anticlimactic 80-yard fumble return for a touchdown ever. I can guarantee you that. It's unfortunate, too, because Tyvon Brown made a nice job, made a nice play to scoop that ball up and run it to the house.
Boy, Jamellen Jones had no chance to run him down, but, buddy, he closed the gap quickly. I say quickly, but he started about 35 yards behind the play, and by the time they got to the goal line, he was within 10 yards of him. That's how much distance he closed.
It's created an interesting situation here for Mike Sharness and his coaching staff. They put some substitutes in, but now all of a sudden Prince Edward has closed the gap, and I'm guessing they're going to go for an onside kick. Here comes a two-point conversion. Thomas has it, hands it off to number 13. That's Anil Walker. He's thrown down in the backfield. Flags came out, though. Let's see if this is against Altavista or against Prince Edward. If it's against the Eagles, then the two-point conversion's no good.
Thomas just picked up the flag and handed it to the official. Last time we saw a player in this field pick up a flag, it went in his jersey.
Yeah, we're not going to name any names.
But West Point.
Yeah, and Barry Wilson. Did I say that out loud?
Yeah.
Penalty is against Prince Edward, so the two-point conversion is no good. Let's take a timeout here. 31-12. Colonel's on top, but things are getting interesting with 7.5 minutes left to play on 105.5 KD Country.
PCM Industrial Services recognizes the importance of high school athletics by sponsoring this award-winning broadcast. PCM Industrial Maintenance and Construction Specialist providing welding, millwright, erection, and fabrication services to all forms of industry throughout the Mid-Atlantic region from offices in Altavista. PCM Industrial Services wishes Coach Sharness and the Altavista football team a safe and successful season. Go Colonels.
Your high school sports station with award-winning coverage on 105.5 KD Country.
31-12 here. Altavista on top of Prince Edward County in a game that has seen a little bit of everything, seen some strange things, Mr. Briggs, but Altavista's on top. I'm expecting the onside kick right here. See if the Colonels are. They do the pooch kick again over here near sideline. Fielded cleanly by Nelson Dews. Dews is going to return this one, though. No fair catch, and he's broken free. He's across the 50, now the 40. Cuts back inside, across the 35 to the 25. Brought down there, Nelson Dews with a nice return. His hat came off. He pops up unscathed. Good return by Nelson Dews, and maybe that will put the finishing touches on Prince Edward's comeback attempt.
He had ill intentions. He wanted to take that to the house, and he was a step away from doing it several times. It looked like they had him pinned in, but nice job by Nelson in that open field, making smart decisions, great vision, and picking up a big yards.
Yeah, it was a nice play. He wanted to go to the middle initially, then he cut it back to the left, chewed through about 2 or 3 Prince Edward defenders. Then he chewed through some more there at the end of the run. Kind of knocking the back of his hamstring with a fist. Might have some tightness or something back there. He's on the sideline right now. Jacob Adams is back in at quarterback. We'll try to identify the rest of the guys and see who all the personnel is. Adams taking some time here. He's got the offense set. They've been down and ready for about 5 seconds. Now here comes the handoff to number 2, Jonathan Montague. Straight up behind the right guard there. That's Terrell Robinson. Short pickup on first down.
Running players in and out. Jones in, replacing Josh McClure out on this near side. Montague still in. Malbeck still in. Trey Robinson in. He's seen some considerable playing time tonight. Done a nice job out on the edge.
Yeah, we've called a lot of different names, that's for sure. And that's a good thing for Altavista when you got different guys making tackles, different guys getting the football. 31-12, the Colonels lead. 6:54 left to play in the Select Air fourth quarter. Adams turns, hands it to Jonathan Montague. Montague is going to try the left side. Not a whole lot there. Thrown down by number 50, Markeem Trent. Trent's a big man. Montague could not get out of the grasp there. No gain. That'll bring up 3rd and 8. Maybe a long 7, a better description. We're down under 6.5 minutes to play in the ball game, Oscar.
Yeah, 3rd and, like you said, 3rd and almost 8. I'd almost like to see him do a little jet sweep here with Mateo, but he's out in the slot.
They've run it successfully a few times. Hard count there by Jacob Adams. Multiple flags come out. There was some movement on the Altavista side as well. Prince Edward came across first. We'll see if the referees noted that or not.
Yes, they did. And that,
the official pointed at Altavista, and they stepped off the yardage the other way. The head official pointed at Altavista, Oscar. We've seen a few strange ones today, though. I think they got it right. I think the penalty was on Prince Edward.
3rd and 8, 3rd and 2, huge difference.
It is a big difference. You're right.
You go to the power game now.
Adams looks back at Montague. They got Dante Poindexter in there at the blocking back, set up in between center and right guard. Adams taking his time, barks out the snap count.
There's the hard count again.
And he made it work. He claps. Adams is very happy with himself and happy that the other 10 guys didn't move. Colonels ran that hard count to perfection. And if you got to remember, folks, the snap count is an interesting thing. Most teams will go on hut or the first hut, and that's what Altavista does 90 to 95% of the time. But on any given occasion, they can change the snap count and go on 2. It works out well there.
And we talked about it last week. Jacob had the opportunity to watch one of the best we've ever seen at the hard count, Juan Thornhill, last year.
Juan was great at using his voice to get 5 free yards. Does it again.
Yeah, he got it.
This time the Colonels fooled themselves. Offside penalty is going to go against Altavista. Left tackle.
Yeah, Kagan Cox had about a 3-yard jump on that.
Maybe Kagan Cox was thinking, gosh, we can't go on 2-3 times in a row here, can we? So Colonels will move it back. We'll call it 1st and 15 now. Ball is going to rest around the 17-yard line. Make sure you stay tuned for the Subway postgame show. We've got the Radio Shack Player of the Game Award. So much more to talk about and do. We'll give you some other scores if you're rolling around in your car or headed home. Maybe you're interested. Blocking back and a running back in the backfield with Adams. He hands it to Jonathan Montague. Montague's going to try off right tackle. Had a man draped around his waist really the entire time, but he got a few yards out of it. Maybe even got it back to that original line of scrimmage.
We're going to mark that at about the 15-yard line. Pick up of 3 maybe.
5:05 left to play here in the Select Air fourth quarter. Online at selectairmechanical.com. That is selectairmechanical.com. Or you can go old school and call them 332-2600.
And you got to believe that the Colonels here, well, they will. They'll take that 25-second clock down to 1 or 2 before they snap the ball.
That's a great luxury of having those play clocks on the field where the quarterback can see it. Adams snaps it with about 2 seconds left on the clock, hands it to Nelson Dews. Dews, nothing there. You got hit around the shoulder pads, then the thigh pads. Dropped to the deck by 3 or 4 Prince Edward defenders. Looks like 1 Prince Edward player down on the turf. They're going to try and help him up. Boy, Dante Poindexter helps up as many guys as he makes tackles. I mean, Dante Poindexter is in the running for some kind of sportsmanship with a year award already in week 2.
Of the year
he's
in week 2?
He's on a watch list. I'm telling you, he's on a watch list somewhere. Half the guys he hits and makes the tackle, he helps up. Maybe more than half.
The other 2, they wait for the trainer.
That's right. That's great stuff. They fake the handoff. Adams across the 5 to the end zone. Nice blocking downfield by the Altavista Colonels. Adams in for the 3rd time tonight on the ground. He's thrown a touchdown too. Jacob Adams runs it in from 15 yards out, extending the Altavista lead. They're up 37-12 with just under 4 minutes left to play in the ball game. Extra point pending.
Well, Coach Sharnes had put some of the subs in, trying to get them some experience, and they turned the ball over, and the fumble pickup return for the touchdown. And starters came back in after sitting out a series and did a really nice job driving the ball downfield, certainly after that onside kickoff return by Nelson.
Nick Boley in for the extra point this time. He converts it. It was a low line drive that snuck over the crossbar, but good enough for 1 more point. 38-12. Just under 4 minutes to play when you come back to 105.5 KD Country.
What do basketball, choir, drama club, and marching band all have in common? They're all high school activities that offer learning opportunities not necessarily found in the classroom. They take up just a fraction of a typical Virginia high school's budget, and they go a long way to giving young people the tools they need to thrive. High school activities, they're more than extracurricular. They're extra important, too.
Brought to you by English Construction Company with offices in Lynchburg.
Now back to the action with Colonel Sports on 105.5 KD Country.
Jacob Adams is having quite the night. 3 touchdowns on the ground for young Mr. Adams, the sophomore. 155-yard passing touchdown to Walker Allen. Adams ran for 2 on the ground last week, Oscar. Threw for 2 as well. The younger Adams is putting up some numbers already early in this season.
Yeah, so is the younger Maulback with a touchdown tonight as well.
True.
So,
and 2 interceptions.
That's right.
Subway post-game show on the way here. We've got 3:56 left to play in our game.
2 interceptions, both of them pick sixes. One of them was called back.
Right, one of them stood. The other got taken back. Walker Allen back on the field to boot it away on the kickoff here. This might end up being the last possession of the football game for Prince Edward. 3:56 remaining in the Select Air fourth quarter. Altavista 38. Eagles 12. Here comes a run up from Allen. High kick, won't get in the end zone. It'll actually bounce one time on the 12. Eagles had a hard time picking it up. Now they got their hands on it. Colonel's coverage team converges well in between the hash marks to shut down the return around the 24-yard line.
You know, one of the things that we've talked about in these first 2 games is that it seems like these games are taking a little bit longer. Well, they are. We're used to the running clock, and that's not going to be a luxury that we're going to have this year. Certainly not as often as we did over the last 2 years.
Yeah, that's a valid point for sure. The running clock was in effect a lot last year. Not going to be in effect as much this year, although knowing what I know about the Colonels and what we've seen tonight, don't you think there's going to be a running clock a few times this year, Oscar? I mean, I could see the Colonels hanging some points on somebody.
Yeah, I think they can, and certainly the defense has been proved tonight. The question is does Jimmy Mundy know how to work a complete game without a running clock? He's got the attention span. Well, never mind.
That might have been a little cheap. Was that a little offside?
Yeah, that was. It was a legal procedure.
1st and 10 for Prince Edward. Inside reverse play here. It's kind of a busted play. I'm not sure the blocking scheme was set up well, but it's going to get some yards. Ball carrier going to race it out there along the sideline. I think
I saw some laundry come out.
Number 6, Malik Lee. The numbers for Prince Edward are a little bit hard to see. Not quite like William Campbell. It was number 13, Anil Walker on the carry. It was an inside reverse. He came from the left. It was designed to go right. He actually went back to his left. Along the far sideline, the left sideline, ends up getting a big gainer out of it.
A gainer? That's a dive. That's a dive.
It's a throwback word?
That's a dive.
Oh, okay.
It's a competitive dive.
Yeah, you're right. Best diver I know is Mr. John Krikora, former Cornell champion diver. Wow, we've really digressed when we're talking about diving and the subtle nuances of it. 3:37 remain in the fourth quarter. 38-12, Colonel's on top. Altavista continues to work some new personnel in and out. The penalty was on Prince Edward. Interestingly enough, it's still first down. It's 1st and 5 now, so the flag came downfield a little bit. Altavista sets up. Linebacker showing blitz. Snap got to the quarterback on the ground. He falls on it, and play will be blown dead there. If it was the NFL, he could have tried to get back up and run, but Joel Thomas is down in high school football. That'll be a loss of 4. And we'll call this now 2nd and 8. Our esteemed colleague and award-winning sound engineer Eleanor Haney is also informing me, Oscar, that a gainer is a type of dismount in gymnastics.
That's true, too.
So there you go. We've got our Olympic sports covered. We've got our high school sports covered. It's award-winning coverage, folks, for a good reason here. 4 wide receivers. Thomas wants to throw. Incomplete. Ball hit the turf around the 35-yard line. Good coverage over there on the far side for the Altavista Colonels. It looked like number 15, Jamilian Jones, was there to help break up the pass. And it'll make it 3rd and 8 now. 2:51 remaining in the Select Air. Fourth quarter, 38-12. Colonels leading the Eagles from Prince Edward. Altavista again at home next week against Greensville County. Interestingly enough, Oscar, we're home back-to-back weeks, and then after that, it's road home in that alternation, just like that all the way through the end of the season. Shotgun formation again. 3rd and 8, 3 wide receivers to the right. That's the wide side of the field. Prince Edward looks to the sideline for maybe a change in play. Passing play here. 1-step drop, looking down the far sideline, incomplete. Ball landed around the 40. Receiver wasn't even to the 45-yard line yet. This will bring up 4th and 8. I would assume Prince Edward's going to go for it here. But you know what happens when you assume, Mr. Bridge.
That's right. You're wrong. William Campbell, 41. Lunenburg, 35. That continues to be a shootout down in the arena.
Great stuff. High school football is incredible stuff. Looks like the Generals are in for a good year. Colonels, of course, lost to Central Lunenburg last week in a close ball game. Altavista's obviously not their A game. I'm sure Lunenburg fans were saying the same thing. This wasn't our A game either. Man in motion here on 4th down. Passing play. Thomas looking down the middle. Hangs it up high in the air. It's caught at the 50-yard line, and he has run through some tackles. That's Brandon Scott. The Colonels were there. They just didn't smack the football away or bring Scott down after the catch.
Yeah, Trey Robinson was there, and I didn't see who put the big hit on him.
Might have been Andres Diaz-Escura. He's there, and he's sort of shaking himself off, rubbing his elbow a little bit. I know Diaz-Escura was in the area. I'm not sure if he was the one that laid the big lick. Jordan Spinner's out there on defense as well.
I think you're right. That was Escura.
Matt Aiken still on the field. We called Matt Aiken's name a bunch here in the first half. Shotgun formation again from just inside the right hash mark here on the 45-yard line. Football on the ground again, football loose. Colonel's trying to grab it. Everybody's trying to grab it. Altavista scooped it up. 45-yard line. That is number 10, Christian Gilbert. Gilbert trucks it all the way down to the 30-yard line where he's bounced out of bounds. Another turnover for the Colonels defense. Comes with 2:10 left to play in the football game. I think Altavista's probably just going to need to take 3 kneel downs here. It might get them close anyway. Maybe they'll have to run a play. It looks like Shaheem Pinnell in at quarterback.
Boy, the most excited player on that fumble recovery was Jacob Adams. He was hoping Gilbert was going to take it to the house, and that would have been another way that the Colonels have scored tonight on a fumble recovery.
Yeah, Colonels have scored a lot of different ways. You're right. That would have been neat to see him score on the fumble recovery. And it's always nice when you see the teammates pulling for each other like that, whether it's the bench guys pulling for the starters or vice versa. Pennell in there, quarterback. And I say Altavista's run everything from the shotgun. They did take the one knee at the end of the half from under center. Handoff play here goes to number 8, who's not on my roster. Show me an updated roster, Mr. Briggs.
Urban Dale.
Urban Dale on the carry there. For
5'9", 170-pound sophomore. This sophomore class is loaded.
They are loaded. 9-yard pickup there for Dale. Again, a lack of professionalism on my part and preparedness. Bob Alvis will certainly be giving me low marks in that area at the end of this game. 1:42 left to play in the Select Air fourth quarter. Pennell in there at quarterback. Hands it off. Running back's got a man draped over his arms. Looked like that might have been number 10, Christian Gilbert, on the carry.
You know, I don't know that you'll get marks from Bob Alvis. He is a TV star now.
He is busy on the TV routine. Check out WSET 13. You can see Mr. Alvis on there. KD Country's own Bob Alvis is how I describe it.
Well, does he have time for radio anymore? I mean, he's
going to make time. You got to be at the beach some, right?
No, not during football season.
Pennell lost the football. It's on the ground. He recovers it off one grab. Whistles are going to come out. Pennell's knee never hit the turf when he picked it up. Don't know what exactly the call is going to be here from the officials. 1:15 left to play in the fourth quarter of this one. Remember, stick around for the Subway post-game show. Radio Shack Player of the Game awards are always good. We'll recap all the scoring in this one. There's been a lot of it, and in a lot of different ways. We'll get you some finals from some other local games of note. Penalty was on Prince Edward. I think they were lined up in the neutral zone, Oscar. Altavista going to snap this one with 2 receivers to each side. Pennell's going to keep it, run with it himself to the left. Dances away
There's
from
the
one
speed
tackle
that we
as he
talk
crosses
about.
The 10, the 5, touchdown. Pennell hits the turf, but not until he gets 5 yards deep in the end zone. Another scoring play for the Altavista Colonels from 15 yards out. Shaheem Pennell on the touchdown run, 44-12. All Colonels now, extra point on the way again for the home team. Good blocking up front. Pennell did have to avoid 1 or 2 defenders, but for the most part, his teammates got everybody taken care of and gave him a free run to the end zone. Looks like Nick Boley on to kick again, pardon me. Chancellor Mormon is on for the hold.
Chancellor did a nice job on the last snap, a little bit low, was able to get it down. Boley stayed concentrated, was able to get it through the uprights.
Colonel's missing 1. And number 50, Coleman Teagarden, will hustle his way out to the offensive line. Colonel's play clock down to 3, now down to 2. Snap gets off in time, sort of floats back. Boley gets his foot to it, and it's through the uprights for 1 more point. 45-12. Colonel's on top. Just 65 seconds left to play when you come back to 105.5 KD Country.
Some people have never tried food at a Mexican restaurant. So we asked Chad Shelton from Shelton's Plumbing and Heating about his experience.
I wasn't so sure what the green stuff was, but they slipped some on my plate one day, and now I won't have a meal without guacamole. Still can't spell it.
At El Cazador Mexican Restaurant, if you have questions, they give you the answers in English. Mexican and American foods, affordable prices, and fast service. Try it today. El Cazador, Main Street, Altavista.
Your home for Colonel sports coverage. 105.5 KD Country.
English Stadium is the site. The Altavista Colonels are on top, 45-12 over Prince Edward. Another rushing touchdown, this time courtesy of the legs of Shaheem Pennell. Another sophomore, Oscar. I got a feeling we're going to talk about this sophomore class all year, until they turn juniors anyway.
Yeah, and after that, we'll be talking about them as seniors.
Right. That's a good point. Let's see if it's Boley or Allen on to kick this one off. They are going to send Nicholas Boley over to kick. Out to kick, I should say, probably more accurately. 1:05 left to play in the Select Air fourth quarter. Remember, Donnie and the gang will do repairs, new installations too. Select Air does it all with prompt and courteous service. And they're moving into a new location too, Oscar. Select Air has taken over the armory there at the top of the hill in Altavista. That's going to be pretty neat. Of course, they're not just they don't just do service in the Altavista area. They'll go pretty much anywhere. Flag comes out now on the Altavista Colonels kick coverage team.
Final at an Aruna. William Campbell, 41-35 over Lunenburg.
Big win. Big win there for the Generals.
And could potentially, depending on how the Colonels do against William Campbell, could help the Colonels later down the road.
That's exactly
awfully early in the year to be talking about that, but you brought it up early, and I think it's a great point.
Yeah, well, in a 45-12 ball game, maybe we need to talk about some compelling issues like that. Colonels are going to get a few more points for beating a 2A team here in the Prince Edward Eagles. Greensville County is a 2A team that will be in next week. Subway pregame show will be on around 6:30. Boldy kicks the pooch kick short. Football came out of the hands of the Prince Edward return man momentarily right there at the 40-yard line. Bit of a pile and a mix-up over there on the far sideline. No signal just yet. Man. Still waiting for a signal. Altavista football. They have pointed. It is Altavista football. Good pooch kick there by Nicholas Boley. Not sure who recovered the football. I know Andres Diaz-Escura was over there near the pile. Jamilian Jones was over there near the pile, but it was a big mass of bodies over there. Not sure who grabbed it. We'll look for that on the stat sheet next week. Colonels had some good numbers on the stat sheet last week. Jonathan Montague ran for 120 yards in that game against Central Lunenburg. Adams, of course, passed for quite a few yards. Passing numbers, again, good this week. There's a kneel down on first down for the Altavista Colonels. It comes with 1 minute to play. They'll probably have to take one more knee, and that will do it. Remember, don't go changing that dial. Subway postgame show on right after this. Having more fun up here in the press box, Oscar. Does the fun ever stop? Maybe that's the question.
It's a constant party going on up here.
It's like one big party. One more kneel down. Shaheem Pinnell does the honors, and the Colonels, I think, are going to ride off into the sunset, or perhaps the moonlight in this case. Their record is going to improve to 1-1. Prince Edward will fall to 1-1 on the season. Yeah, 20 seconds left on the game clock. Play clock is about a second behind, so the Colonels don't have to snap another one. Teams are going to line up at the 50-yard line, and that will do it for us. Altavista, 45-12, a winner over Prince Edward. Subway post-game show on the way when you come back to 105.5 KD Country.
No one knows trucks like we know trucks. Come see us and you'll agree. From small to tall, we've got it all. Highview Motors, GMC. Come on in. Bring the family. See your friends at Highview Motors. Highview Motors, GMC. From small to tall, we've got it all. Highview Motors, GMC.
Stay cool in the summer and warm in the winter. Tyree Little's Heating and Cooling, on the ready to keep you comfortable year-round. Locally owned and operated, just a call away with over 20 years experience. Licensed and bonded. Tyree Little's Heating and Cooling, specializing in heating, air, plumbing, and electrical. Any season, anytime. Tyree Little's Heating and Cooling, keeping you cool in the summer and warm in the winter. Give them a call today. Tyree Little's Heating and Cooling, Gretna.
This broadcast is brought to you by the members of the KD Country Sports Club.
Chef's Drive-In, keeping drive-ins alive with hometown pride and service.
One Stop Mart, where the gas is cheap, the beverages are cold, and the chicken is kicking.
El Cerrito and Altavista. Throw on a sombrero, shake your maracas, it's El Cerrito time.
Altavista Medical and Oncology Massage Therapy. Broad Street can help you relieve your pain.
Vista Foods Altavista, your hometown grocery with freshest produce and best meats.
McDonald's and Altavista, committed to the community and bringing the world's favorite food.
Colonels Football, brought to you by the Sports Club on KD Country.
Your station for high school sports play-by-play is 105.5 KD Country.
Subway post-game show has arrived. Oscar, I did a Subway dance earlier. Colonels get to do their victory dance here. 45-12. They get the win over Prince Edward. A good game. It was all Colonels. Prince Edward tried to gather some momentum there at times. They looked like they were going to get some things together, but Altavista seemingly every time responded well and made some big plays when they needed to.
They did make some big plays, and they looked very good at times and really offensively. They put the ball on the ground
three times.
Three times.
Right?
A little bit careless with the ball tonight, and that's certainly going to have to be corrected. And I'm sure Coach Sharnes will have that as a point of emphasis moving forward here next week in the hosting Greensville County.
Rapid fire timeout. Colonels win 45-12. We'll talk more about the game. We'll try to break down everybody that scored. We'll give you some more scores from around the area, Radio Shack player of the game, and a whole lot more. Subway post-game show. Colonels win 45-12. You heard it all live on 105.5 KD Country.
Apple Auto Glass is your windshield repair and replacement center in Lynchburg. You get a free car wash with all windshields replaced in the shop. Apple Auto Glass wants the fans to enjoy the boys of fall this high school football season.
When I feel that chill, smell that fresh cut grass, I'm back in my helmet, cleats, and shoulder pad. Kings of the school, man, where the boys of fall.
Apple Auto Glass salutes the boys of fall.
Bank with the local team. Bank of the James on Main Street in Altavista. Stop by our office today to talk with Bobby Walker and his team of local bankers to learn about local banking with Bank of the James. We offer a full line of personal and business banking products and services, including online banking and bill pay, personal and commercial loans and lines of credit, and mortgage loans. Bank with the local team. Bank of the James. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Prompt, confidential, professional. A-Town Bail Bonds. 434-401-0253. Local, reliable, available 24/7. A-Town Bail Bonds. 434-401-0253. When a friend or family member is arrested and jailed, call a professional. Call Chip Rourke and A-Town Bail Bonds. 434-401-0253. Get answers. Get help. A-Town Bail Bonds. 434-401-0253.
English is
so much more.
English is
more than a hardware store.
English is.
Are you planning a painting project this fall? English's is now your authorized dealer for Valspar paint. Valspar, well known for its quality and color selection. Stop by English's in Altavista. Let their paint department help you make your next painting project a success.
English's is your complete home center.
Here's more award-winning high school sports with Kyle and Oscar on 105.5 KD Country.
Subway pregame show. So much to love about Subway. Postgame. Sorry, Oscar gave me that look like I know I screwed up, but I thought maybe I wrecked your car or something. Subway postgame show as Oscar Briggs helping out with the equipment detail here all of a sudden at Altavista High School. He's well-rounded, don't worry. Speaking of well-rounded, Subway and their fantastic menu, Mr. Briggs. I mentioned how I'm excited about the Reuben being back. You can do corned beef, you can do turkey. Obviously, you can do whatever toppings you want. But the lovely and talented Cindy also brought up the chopped salads at Subway to die for. I mean, amazing stuff. And again, you put in whatever you need in there. Here's what I do in my chopped salad. I do the spinach and the regular lettuce. I do the black olives. I do the banana peppers. A little bit of tomatoes, but I don't want it to be too healthy. And I just love it.
Top it off with a raspberry cheesecake cookie.
Is Subway still open? Can we go now? 45-12. Colonels win here in this one. Let's get back on track. Scoring for the Altavista Colonels. Mateo Malback got it started with the 30-yard interception, pick six for a touchdown. Mateo also had another pick earlier that he ran back, but the penalty negated it. We're still not sure what the penalty was.
That was an odd play.
Negated, yeah. Jacob Adams, 3 rushing touchdowns, 1 passing touchdown. Shaheem Pannell had a touchdown on the ground. Walker Allen was perfect on the extra points. Nick Boley was perfect on his 2 extra points. Colonels really cleaned up that. I know that's something that's going to make Coach Mike Koch, easy for me to say. I know that is something that is going to make Coach Mike Sharnes and his staff happy, Oscar. The fact that they did figure out their extra point operation and get it improved. They did have the one bad snap that they ended up making work out. Walker Allen threw the 2-point conversion to Traquan Farmer. But for the most part, that looked a lot better this week.
I would totally agree that looked better, and certainly the defense looked better tonight as well.
Defense looked solid, and it looked like they were going to pitch a shutout for a while. But
they played in spurts because early they came out very aggressive, had their ears pinned back, were hard-hitting, penetrating. I don't know if it was conditioning or what it was, but they got in the third quarter. It might have just been that certainly Prince Edward had some success moving the ball.
Yeah, Prince Edward had some success, and when you've got good running backs, Delquan Bigelow falls into that category. Brandon Scott, we also saw carry the football. He had a touchdown run for Prince Edward. Bigelow had one as well. Eventually, those guys, are going to get free. I mean, I don't care if you're running against, those Bears defenses from the 80s. If you've got great running backs, eventually you're going to give up some yards. Prince Edward had that tonight. They fought very well. One more quick timeout for us. We'll come back with scores. The Radio Shack player of the game. We'll wrap it all up. We've had a fun time here tonight. First home game. We're at home again next week. Subway pregame show on at 6:30. But let's finish the Subway postgame show. Colonels win 45-12 over Prince Edward. You heard every second of the action live on 105.5 KD Country.
Your station for real country. 105.5 KD Country. WKDE Altavista, Lynchburg, and streaming at kdcountry.com.
Here at Best Bet Motor Sales with Terrell to tell us all about the Best Bet Buy of the Week.
Thanks, Lori. This week's Buy of the Week is a 2008 Ford Explorer. This vehicle is great. It's all-wheel drive. It's super, super clean. Brand new tires, automatic transmission, all your power equipment, serviced, state inspected, and ready to roll at only $89.95, and financing is available. Come see us at Best Bet Motors, 29 South.
Best Bet Motor Sales, 29 south of Lynchburg.
Finch and Finch Funeral and Cremation Service. A family serving family since 1905.
Life is full of opportunities to show someone we love them. One such opportunity is the funeral or memorial service. Finch and Finch helps you celebrate the relationships they shared and honors the memory of your loved one.
Finch and Finch Funeral and Cremation Service. A family serving family since 1905.
Hello, this is Jerry Miley from 1433 Altavista Moose Center. It's asking everybody to come on down and join us and see what the Moose is all about to help us support our Moose Heart, Moose Haven family. Anybody's welcome to come down and take a tour of our building and see what's going on. Come on down and we'll let you in and we can have some fun. We're looking forward.
Meet Jerry and the rest of the Altavista Moose family and become a member. The Altavista Moose Family Center on Lynch Mill Road.
Start your business on the winning drive with an Altavista revolving loan. It's an opportunity to score big for your company's future growth. Funds available up to $10,000. Loan rate 1% below prime. Huddle up with Altavista Economic Development Director Dennis Jarvis II at Altavista Town Hall. Make your move today. The Altavista Revolving Loan Fund encourages economic development and enhances community vitality.
More live high school sports action on 105.5 KD Country.
Final segment of the Subway postgame show. We'll wrap this one up and get you ready for a good weekend of college football. A good 3-day weekend, too, Labor Day weekend. If you have to work, you'll make the most of it anyway. Don't let that bother you. Colonels didn't let much bother them tonight. 45-12. They get the win. I mentioned some of those other scores, Oscar. We have them. Gretna did hold on to beat Tunstall. EC Glass gets the win 20-14 over Halifax. Good first win for Jeff Woody in his Lynchburg return. Buckingham beat Chatham big. Appomattox holds on to beat Russburg 14-7. William Campbell, you already talked about, with a big win over Lunenburg. That one very interesting. A lot of good games tonight. A lot of good games next week. Greensville County in town. A team that, like we said, a little bit of an unknown. So we'll maybe have to take a little extra time talking to Coach Mike Sharness next week and find out as much as we can.
They're playing at Amelia tonight. No score reported out of that game.
Well, let's do our Radio Shack player of the game. Radio Shack and Crystal Bay Pools on Main Street in Altavista. Visit them today. What was our routine last week, Oster. You went first. I went first.
You always go first.
I know. So that means I should go first?
Yeah, go first.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go first for the visiting Prince Edward Eagles. I'm going to have to go with the man himself. Number 4, Delquan Bigelow. He's a senior. Colonels did a nice job bottling him up, but I think he's going to have some big games, Oscar, later on this year. I feel like he's a guy you're going to open up Twitter or open up the paper or watch a highlight show and see where he ran for 250 or 300 yards. He's capable of that.
Yeah, he ran for 240 last weekend, so certainly he is. And I have to concur. I can't disagree with that. It's Bigelow for me as well.
On the other side, for the Altavista Colonels, a lot of people to choose from here. I tell you, I loved what Jacob Adams did. He got in the end zone 4 times, 3 with the feet, 1 with the arm. I'm going to go a different direction. I'm going to go with big number 44, Dante Poindexter. Dante blocked well, and he was a big reason that Bigelow was bottled up. I mean, Dante, if he wasn't in the backfield, he was pushing the offensive lineman 2 or 3 yards in the backfield. I like Dante Poindexter as my Radio Shack player of the game.
I'm going to go really off the wall and go something really non-mainstream now. I'm going Josh McClure.
Nice.
Second game back, early in the game, I think he set the tone with the hits against Thomas, really took Thomas out of his rhythm, took Prince Edward out of their offensive rhythm. And, again, he rocked Thomas on several occasions, and Thomas was never, ever to get his rhythm back.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, he was hassling him. He really helped cause that interception, Mateo Malback, for the first touchdown. Great pick by you. I love that. Couldn't love it anymore. Couldn't love what our producer, Eleanor Haney, did anymore. You've heard of Superwoman. She's Superwoman. Just add 1 super to it.
And she's a nice person as well.
Yeah, on top of it all. That's exactly right. Subway pregame show, and, of course, our entire game would not be possible if it wasn't for the support from folks like Finch & Finch Funeral and Cremation Service, a family serving families since 1905. Apple Auto Glass, mobile service, free pickup and delivery, celebrating the boys of fall. Highview Motors, from small to tall, Highview has it all. Select Air Mechanical and Electrical, your authorized trained dealer. They're online at selectairmechanical.com. Altavista Moose Family Center, bringing communities closer together and celebrating life. Be a moose. Zaxby's, daringly flavorful and absolutely craveable. Wards Ferry Road in Lynchburg. The First National Bank, focused on providing an extraordinary customer experience. English is your complete home center and your national hardware headquarters. The Altavista Office of Economic Development, helping Altavista grow. Huddle up with Dennis Jarvis today. English Construction, wishing our high school athletes an exciting and injury-free game. Feller Chevrolet, a short drive will save you money. And, of course, they sponsor our YouTube on-demand rebroadcast. You can hear any Colonels game whenever you want on our YouTube channel. PCM Industrial Services, serving the Mid-Atlantic region with quality maintenance and construction services. A-Town Bail Bonds, be good, but if you can't be good, call Chip, 338-6860. The Village Barbershop, family-style barbershop offering current and classic cutting techniques. Best Bet Motors, a respected name you can trust with quality vehicles. Route 29 just south of the airport. The Bank of the James, we're making a difference in banking and in our community. El Cazador, be sure to try their new menu, Main Street in Altavista. And Tyree Little's Heating and Cooling, keeping you cool in the summer, warm in the winter, and comfortable in between. That's going to wrap it up for us. The Altavista Colonels get the first win of the season, 45-12 over the Prince Edward Eagles. So glad that you could join us. Hope you have a good first weekend of college football and a good Labor Day. We're back on the air again Friday night. Greensville County coming into town, a new opponent for the Altavista Colonels. Subway pregame show starts at 6:30. Until then, keep enjoying the real country music on 105.5 KD Country.